to SpawnCast, Saturday, 9 p.m. Eastern. Well, 9:03. So you know how that goes. But I have a couple people here with me. The usual cast, Max, Dreamcast guy, has now been upgraded to co-host of the SpawnCast.
Hey, congratulations!
Congratulations, to Max.
Rising up that ladder. I had to kill Philip, unfortunately, but here we are.
Made it happen.
Let's get into Philip real quick. Talk about him real fast before we start. Philip, if you don't know, has been called up to, I guess, the journalistic big leagues, and he's going to be working with IGN now. So he is going to be the Nintendo editor at IGN. You will see him on Nintendo Voice Chat. He told me he will not be on this week's. He will be on the following week's. And from there, his first episode is going to be him as a guest. And from there, he'll actually be hosting the entire thing.
Wow,
so yeah, go check him out there. Now IGN needs people like Philip. It does. People were really there were some people who were kind of sad about it, frustrated in the corporation. You need good people in the corporation for it to be good. So I think Philip going there is a big pickup for them. It is. His camera quality is superb, and he definitely enjoys the entire industry and the job and everything. So I think he'll only make them better. So good job, Philip. And I will be checking him out. And we'll definitely have him back here. He's not just going away from SpawnCast. We'll have him as a guest every now and then. But I have a feeling his work schedule is going to get pretty crazy and hectic over there.
Oh, hell yeah.
So yeah, it's not going to be something that's going to be like, I got to work for a couple hours and I'll come home. Now he's going to be there burning the midnight oil probably a couple times. But he's excited for it. So we're excited for him. We have Max joining us tonight as usual as the co-host, like I said. So welcome, hello, Max.
From my fancy new office, you can see my background is completely different now. Famous.
Dude, yeah, that's right. You're moved now. You moved.
Yes, this is the new office, and I still haven't put up all the final soundproofing. So unfortunately, there's a tiny bit of an echo. But other than that, here we are.
That's fine. It's manageable. How do you like the new place?
It is fucking awesome. This house, I was living in a very shitty, I was basically living in the ghetto of Dallas, which I'm fine. I've always lived in rundown stuff, but that house was such a dump. So being evicted, I rented a real house, and it's fucking amazing.
Do you still have a roommate there?
Yes, I have 2 roommates, but it's two of my best friends are military guys, and they just rent a giant house, and they were like, yeah, you can have the back 2 rooms to use as an office and a bedroom. And I was like, thank you.
I still need to get an office, man. I'm down here in I have the whole basement part to myself, but I need an office.
Yeah,
man. Yeah. So we also have the guest tonight is Sean, RGT85. Sean, how are you doing tonight, man?
Doing good. Glad to be on here.
Yes. It was kind of a spur of the moment thing, but you seem to be pretty flexible with timing and everything, so we do appreciate that.
I have no life outside of
that sounds like me.
Outside of a day job. If I'm not at the day job, I'm at home working on something.
Dude, I don't even have a day job, so imagine what my life's like. Well, I mean, I have a son I got to keep an eye on, make sure he doesn't go down the stairs or something.
Yep. Kids love doing that.
Yes. But the no basketball game on though tonight, right?
No, last night was the game.
Oh, okay, very good. Yep, awesome. And then of course we have Evan over there. Kimmer's Games. Did your account get to 100 subscribers?
No, the art one, nah. The other one, yes. The Kimmer's Games one, yes. I haven't made any videos yet for it, although I have been getting back into the game, so I might make a couple more just to try to get things going there.
You need to get into making some videos, man. People are missing you on the channel.
Yeah, I'm thinking I'm going to try a test run this week of a esports news video that would probably drop Saturday.
The person was really excited for that possibility. Did you see that on Twitter?
Yeah. It's something I've wanted to do.
Excited.
Oh, hell yeah. It's something I've wanted to do for a while, but I just haven't had the time or really the organization for it. But I think this week I have an idea.
We talked about that a while ago when we were out getting food one time when we were first talking about the channel in general. One of the ideas that Evan had was to do kind of not really like a sports center, but kind of like that with esports, right? Where it's a show and you get updated on different things that are happening in the esports world.
We're going to try to do general news because I know there's the big titles, but there's also more interesting information, I think, about movements in the industry outside of esports as they're trying to move into it to make it a real thing so that people get more of an understanding on how it's working out.
That seems like that could be a pretty cool weekly type show.
Yeah, I'd watch that. I mean, I've heard a lot of people talking about the fact that they're trying so hard to invent a PlayerUnknown Battleground League right now because it's just so popular, but they're trying to invent rules and get sponsors. And so
it's really hard to do because the major tournament they did show was just so boring. Like, no one was doing anything in it. Everyone was running away. Like 40% of the entire tournament was just the sky down camera where they just watched dots run around. That was it. So
they were really good dots.
Yes, really awesome dots. But no, it was weird because last weekend I wasn't here because I was at a wedding party for my cousin, and I was just talking there, and some guy was like, "Oh, I work for this company," and we just had this big meeting with all like the execs about joining the Overwatch League as like a sponsor, and I was like, "It's just so random that it's like in the middle of nowhere like that."
Philip Tomaszewski, I'm sorry, Tomaszewski threw a Canadian dollar in the super chat. Thanks, Philip. We appreciate it. Like I said, these guys don't know that a lot of the super chats are getting put to the side for Christmas presents. Although I already told Sean what his is, so he already knows what his Christmas present is. It's Star Fox 2.
Oh,
so yeah, an actual one. Yeah, I'm actually going to use the Super Nintendo Classic ROM dump.
That's the good ROM.
Yes, it is. And it'll have a battery so you can save.
Works perfectly well on the FX chip carts. We got that all up and running.
It does. Yeah, it works on Stunt Racer FX, man. That's the donor cart.
I hate that game, so it's fine.
Well, it turns into Star Fox 2, so there you go.
Exactly.
Okay, so we got the introductions, but there was so there's a developing story that was taking place, and Max is very caught up on it. So he's going to give us all the backstory, and then we're all going to kind of laugh at NeoGaf. So go ahead, Max.
Okay, so right now, in case you don't know, there's a giant forum where everybody kind of talks insider access in the gaming industry called NeoGaf. This website is kind of a wild west of leaks and weirdness. Well, it's all run by one big guy whose screen name is Evil Lore. He is the founder of the website. And the way this website really needs to work is it has really tight moderators who make sure that everything's a tight ship. Well, just about 2 hours ago, every moderator quit this site because allegations came out that he's kind of a horrible scumbag. It sounds like he got this chick and like invited her to go on like a cross-state trip down into Louisiana for some like big party, and then they got drunk, and he might have gotten into a shower with her naked against her will, and then he made a post on NeoGaf saying like, look, you guys don't know. You're trying to be all judgy. You don't know. This is what women want. Like, she was being really flirty with me at the club. So
he actually posted something on NeoGaf about it?
Yes, he deleted it incredibly fast, and people were re-upping the screenshots. And so I looked at those screenshots, and his defense of himself is I mean, I hate to use the word rapey, but holy shit.
I read the story, and I was like, ooh, that's not good. Like, even I was like, ooh.
Well, and now, so all the moderators just quit, and now he officially said statement coming. So, I mean, clearly even he has to realize that at this point he needs to explain what's going on, or that dumpster fire is going down in 24 hours.
Yeah, and just in case you're wondering, you can't get to the site because everyone's quitting, all the moderators, and some of those mods, believe it or not, some of them were actually pretty cool. I've actually seen them occasionally post in there and keep things under control pretty quick. And it's interesting. Now, I like NeoGaf and I hate NeoGaf at the same time because it's like if you ever go on there, it is like a shotgun spread of games. Like nothing's organized. It's just everything everywhere. Yeah. But I really liked it because people from the industry, like developers, would post on there.
Yeah, tons of breakthrough news came out of there. It was beautiful.
Yeah, they would talk to the fans and stuff occasionally. But then you also get people who are being dumb about everything on there too. But I liked that you couldn't just sign up with a Gmail. Like you need an actual series email, like even a Comcast one or anything but a Gmail, a fake one that you can just make real quick. So NeoGaf is in some trouble. But what Sean had an interesting opinion about the situation.
The thing about NeoGaf is like there's good people in there, and those good people can always just relocate to anywhere else. I always have avoided NeoGaf like the plague. I never liked it. Like, I'm pretty sure that they've talked shit about me and Nintendo Enthusiast on there before, and it's just like there's a lot of the a lot of the people that do the actual initial posts are very smart people and do very good work. But a lot of the people that are just, average viewers of it and average commenters of it are just like so like cancerous and just like a hive mentality sort of thing. It's just crazy.
Yeah. It goes downhill pretty quick sometimes in those threads. And the crazy thing about that, NeoGAF is a very progressive audience, right?
Yes.
And like they're, right? They're very
Yeah.
Like they were very against JonTron, right?
Yeah. Oh,
yes,
and
okay.
PewDiePie.
And
they
PewDiePie,
went real hard on him.
Right. So they're very against that stuff. But now the person that owns the site is like worse than them.
Yeah. Look at your God. He's a terrible person.
So it's like they don't know what to do. They have they're making posts that are like, "Hey, ban me. I don't want to be here anymore." Like they're just calling them out and everything. And it's like they don't know what to do. That place was literally imploding.
Yeah, it was lagging so bad when I saw it going down. I just tried to go on there, and I never go on NeoGAF at all. The really useful stuff, people typically just tweet a direct link, and I just read that thread. I've been to the website like 3 times, and I was like, oh, I'll see what's going down at the GAF, and I go there, and there was like the top topic was called Eternal Darkness screenshot, and I click it, and it says, okay, quick, before they delete this thread, here's all the evidence, and I'm like, oh my god, like this fucking
right, that's funny. That's funny. So NeoGAF right now is being DDoSed. You cannot go there. It seems to just be dead right now because just people do that. I mean, people DDoS Jim Sterling after his Zelda review. What do you think they're going to do to this person?
Yeah.
So it's to a point now where it's bad. So they can relocate though. You're right, Sean, but that needs organization, and I don't think a lot of these people have that. Based on like the threads and the posts and everything. But here's the thing: anyone who takes advantage of the situation and goes and makes a new NeoGAF, well, you could probably be a business.
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to be interesting. I don't know what his statement's going to be because it seems like he's already confirmed that he's done what everyone's mad about anyway. So
yeah, and those deleted posts are incredibly incriminating, and they're posted today, and they're very much being like, sometimes girls just want you to move on them. Like, no, do not. Whoa, no.
Oh man, that's something. Okay, then. Good. So I guess we got that out of the way. That just happened like 2 hours ago, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's very recent.
Yeah.
Like it just happened. So that was out of nowhere. And okay, so did you guys saw Sean, you saw the leak, the supposed Xbox original leak, right, of the games?
I did.
You did. Okay, good. But Max has not seen this yet.
Not at all. And I'm a huge Xbox collector and lover, so lay it on me.
Okay, cool. We have, all right, these are the games that are supposedly have been leaked by someone by the name of Walking Cat. They have several leaks, correct? Their most recent one, I think, was the Surface laptop before Microsoft even announced it. It was out there with pictures and everything. So when they did announce it, we were all kind of like, yeah, that's fine. So they had some kind of in at Microsoft, whether they're an employee or a PR person or part of marketing, or they know somebody in there. But the list that they gave us was, the big one is Knights of the Old Republic. So that is there. Ninja Gaiden Black.
Yes.
Red Faction 2. Prince of Persia: Sands of Time. Grabbed by the Ghoulies. Psychonauts. That's part of it.
Yeah.
Dead to Rights. Crimson Skies. Fusion Frenzy. Sid Meier Pirates. And Blood Rain. And then King of Fighters Neowave. So the list it's pretty good overall, I think, for a first wave. That's not like every Xbox game that's going to it. That's the first, like, here's Xbox original backwards compatibility. You can buy any of these games on the shop, and then every other week we'll put more out. But that's the initial wave. Now, Max, what are your first impressions of that?
Extremely good, but also so random. Like, what the hell? Like, I'm a huge Xbox collector. I mean, I literally have hundreds of games, and that sounds like if I just grabbed a fistful out of a box and just went, okay, cool, King of Fighters and Grabbed by the Ghoulies. Like,
well, they don't need Halo because Halo is already on the system with Master Chief Collection. I think Knights of the Old Republic is a good one to tackle because it has technical issues on the Xbox and even the PC.
Yeah.
There is no good working version of Knights of the Old Republic right now. Ninja Gaiden Black, though, that's an interesting one.
Yeah. Oh my god, I was so obsessed with that game when it came out. I played it So that was like the first time there was a game that was like famously hard for me and my friends. So we really sat down, and I remember my friend bet me $100 I couldn't beat one of the last bosses, Dooku. He bet me $100 I couldn't beat him in 100 tries, and I sat there for 2 hours trying to just beat Dooku, and I lost. And I was like, "Give me the $100, please, bro." Just.
Oh man, Sean, what are your thoughts on this list, man?
Random but good.
Okay.
I think.
Yeah, because you would be like the perfect like audience member for this, right? Because you like more of the retro stuff.
Yeah, and I think it's good. I like I said, something like Dead to Rights. Extremely random. It was definitely a product of the time, a game that I probably that has not held up well. I haven't played it in a while, but for the most part, yeah, very good. Crimson Skies, though, like we were kind of talking about before we went on air, definitely needs that online multiplayer because that was that was the whole point of the game. So hopefully they're going to include that in that, and then that'll actually make it, pretty unique, I think.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be really cool though if they made everything work online. Oh, Sean, have you got the Master Chief Collection for your Xbox yet?
I don't.
Oh, that's a good one to go check out. I'm telling you, it has all the Halo games on it, and they're putting a patch out sometime in 2018 that will actually fix a lot of the issues as well.
All right, cool.
So I would look into that. I don't know if you played a lot of the Halo games back in the day.
Yeah, Halo 2 was like crack cocaine to me.
Yeah, did you see Master Chief Collection? They redid everything, so it looks all brand new.
Yeah.
Really? Oh, doesn't
yeah.
it doesn't it have like you could switch the graphics?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And you can play online with it.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, you can play everything online with it, so it's really fun. It was broken when it first came out. You couldn't find any matches or anything, but it's better now. Like I play Halo 3 and I get into a match in like a few minutes. Before it would be every half hour I'd get a match.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
I was so hyped for that. You can say I have the Master Chief Collection Xbox One. I was so hyped of being like, yes, Master Chief, come to me, my papa.
Did you got the entire Xbox for it?
Yes, I got the Master Chief Xbox One edition where it like came in like it'll be perfect on day one, which turned out to be a lie, but I'm still happy.
Was that was that when you first got your Xbox One? Was with that game?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yes, yeah, that was like the day of like I was pretty on the fence, like the Xbox One, I've got a PlayStation 4, and they were like, here's every Halo game. I was like, and my credit card number is
yeah. I do like that they redid the Halo 2 single player the entire campaign. That was pretty cool.
Yeah.
But what's really cool, Sean, if you do end up getting it, they have a mode where it will literally pick between Halo 1, 2, 3, or 4, I think.
Yeah.
So it'll pick a game, and then it'll pick a game type from that game. So you can jump into this game lobby, this matchmaking, and it will basically throw any one of the 4 Halos at you, and then it picks a game type from that Halo.
Oh, really? That's pretty dope.
It's pretty neat, yeah.
I like doing Slayer where you vote on it, where it'll say like, okay, do you want to do this map in Halo 3 rules, or do you want to do this map in Halo 2 rules, or this map in Halo 4 rules? And so basically everybody votes on basically what game they want to play for that round.
Yeah, I think GameStop sells it for like $20 or $25. Super worth the money. It's great.
Yeah,
It's like $30 at Best Buy.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, that works too. Awesome.
But then again, I have a lot of games coming out that I need to buy.
Yes, there are a lot of games coming up for everything, including the Switch has that 1 week. So I don't know if you've been keeping an eye on this, Max, as much as others have. I know Sean is like keeping a big eye on the Switch in November. There is this week in November that is like $300 week for Switch games, just from retail alone. I have to look it up again, but I know some of the big ones are LA Noire, Doom, and then Skyrim in that 1 week. And then there's eShop games coming out as well.
I think so my list right now is
you have a list.
I have a list. So Doom I already bought. Doom I'm picking up at my Best Buy the day it comes out. I'm gonna get Sonic Forces just out of morbid curiosity.
About. Yeah.
I sent my email. I'm hoping to get that early.
Skyrim, LA Noire, and then for the rest of November, there's Resident Evil, the Revelations collection.
Yep.
I mean, I have to have that when they threw in those new mini games. I was like, oh my God. And then Gear Club, which I'm keeping a close eye on. I think I want it because I enjoy racing games and it looks pretty decent. And it seems like they've actually put a good amount of effort into it from what they've been talking about. And then I think there's like one more.
Did you play Rhyme?
Rhyme is another one. Damn it, I forgot about Rhyme.
I have it on the PS4. I played it already, and Evan actually already beat it too.
Yeah, I beat it on PC. It was a great game.
It's just like with the Switch, it's just I prefer playing my games on it now. It's like I hate when I'm playing like my Xbox One or PS4 and I'm just like I'm stuck to the TV. It's like get this out of here, get this away from me.
You just like the freedom.
I like the freedom.
I personally like that. I like coming into my like office and sitting down at the desk and playing games. And I feel like when I leave it, I still love playing my Switch. I've been playing a lot of Golf Story on handheld mode.
That game is awesome, isn't it? I told you.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you. I 100% have it because of you. And man, I don't know. I feel like they're different experiences, but I feel like for the most part, I love like sitting down and playing Fortnite for hours, like on a TV.
Yeah.
Oh, and the Batman Telltale game is November.
You played that yet? Did you? Did you play it already or no?
I don't like Telltale. I hate Telltale.
It's more like I like Batman a lot. It's more like it's a whole nother story to kind of watch, and then you interact at times. Like Evan really liked the Wolf Among Us.
I liked it at the beginning, but
that's a good game, Wolf Among Us.
It just started feeling weird over time because it didn't feel as interactive. It just felt like I was experiencing a movie as long as I got to the next part to watch the movie.
The biggest problem with all the freaking Telltale games is they start out with a team of like 35 working on it, and then if it doesn't sell exceedingly well, they slowly move people to other projects. So because of it, as the episodes go on, they start having less voice acting and more like scenes of people just walking for 2 minutes straight and stuff because they have less employees working on it. So it definitely has that thing of like no climax ever feels really great.
I mean, I bought the first episode of the Batman one on PS4. And it's just like, I want to like the games. I think the art style is really good. I think they do a good job with the writing and the voice acting. It's just, there's not enough game in it for me. It's like, let me do something. Like, Jesus Christ, you have Batman. Batman is not, I mean, yes, there's great story in Batman, but Batman is definitely 50-50. Probably, I'm going to say 70-30 action versus story. I mean,
yeah, you want more action like closer to the Arkham games, or do you just want more like solving to do? Because usually in these types of games, it's like point and click discovering of what you have to do next.
Right, and I like that. I like the puzzle stuff and that sort of stuff. I just feel like they could include a little bit more action. And it doesn't even have to be like, you know, as refined as Arkham or anything, but just some sort of like, that's why I like the Wolf Among Us, because I felt it had a good blend of, you know, stuff to actually do and stuff that felt interactive versus the story and the atmosphere and the environment. Like, that was a fantastic game, but I don't know. I just felt, and it, to me, Telltale games are just like insert franchise, same exact thing.
Yeah.
Insert franchise, same exact thing. Like, damn, man, throw in some variety.
So we have, all of those are coming out on the Switch. I need to pull up what's coming out for PS4 and Xbox One. Max, do you have any off the top of your head that you're reviewing that month?
Yeah, we're talking November?
November, yeah.
We got the .hack GU Last Recode, which is the collection.
I should remember that. I'm the one who was like, yo, Max, look at this.
Yep, and then same day, we're also getting Call of Duty World War II. Of course, we get Sonic Forces on the 7th. We're getting the release of the Xbox One X also on the 7th, which will be an interesting day.
Are you buying that? I keep forgetting that.
I'm trying to because I don't have a 4K TV, so I think it'd be interesting to review it as somebody with what I consider a normal standard TV. Like I just have a 1080p TV, so I might do like a broadcast review of it. And then also November, we're getting Need for Speed Payback, Star Wars Battlefront 2, and I think that's it for November. Of the Xbox and PS4 stuff.
There's a ton of stuff coming out on the 14th is packed. They have a lot of stuff on. There's some BioShock 10th Anniversary Edition coming out. Cat Quest. Evan, you looked at Cat Quest. Remember that?
Oh yeah, no, that game actually was. That game, it's called Cat Quest, but actually look at it. It's actually kind of cool looking.
Yeah, I know. No, we were looking at that. We're like, this looks neat. Is it? That's not on. I guess that's out on PC the same day. Maybe it's actually like an old school RPG with like cats. It's kind of funny.
Yeah. It has a live combat and an overworld map that involves like distancing and angular attacks. It's really cool.
Oh, and that's right. The Sims 4 is coming out also. I forgot about that. I'm just looking to see if there's anything big or massive after that. Because once you get into December, I know we have Okami's coming. That's right. That's in December also.
Oh yeah.
Because I know once we get into December, it's gonna be mostly everyone's gonna be talking about Xenoblade, and then we get into the next year with Ni no Kuni 2 and Lost Sphear and Monster World. So
Rocket League Switch. That's gonna
we have no idea when that's coming out. Isn't that crazy?
No, it's coming out in December.
Is it?
I'm 99% sure.
I don't think we have a release date for it yet.
No, I'm
Because Nintendo just posted an image and it was like holiday 2017 for Rocket League.
Why do I? Oh yeah, it is holiday 20. Well, I mean, if it says 2017, it's got to be December, right?
I think December. They can't put that out in November, can they?
No, I think that's like the Payday thing. I think Payday will end up in December or January as well.
Yeah, I could see Payday 2 falling to next year. It's just November's just too crowded, man. There's just so much stuff.
It's so dumb. And I mean, there's going to be one game that's going to be a big casualty. And I
forgot Siberia came out.
I don't know which game is going to be the casualty though. But one game, I think all the games are going to sell really well except for one game as far as the Switch stuff goes. Like, and when I say the games, I mean like it's shit like Doom and LA Noire and all that. I think
one of them's going to suffer.
It's going to be interesting. It's going to be
really
interesting to see the spread because one might not suffer, but like a bunch might just be lower, and it might be kind of like a markup to the one game that's really good. And we'll get a really good idea on the community that's on the Switch right now in that instance.
I think Doom is going to do the best. No,
really, I'm thinking Skyrim.
Yeah, I got to take that back because of the Zelda shit.
Yes.
That's why I want it. It's like, you bastards, why would you do this?
So my thing is, I don't give a shit about the Zelda stuff, but I'm a humongous, ultra diehard Skyrim fan, so I'm going to be buying it for a 5th time. Like, it's
got to be appealing to you because it's portable.
Yeah, that's so cool. I've beaten Skyrim so many times. I've done so many complete master files where I beat every single mission, but still, like, now I can pick it up and actually. While I'm stuck at a convention and bored, like in the middle of the night, let's boot up Skyrim.
Yeah, it's going to be very interesting. It's going to feel surreal to have that game portably. I have the GPD win, and it works, but it barely works. Like, it's like 720p, ultra low settings. It runs, but not like how, like, I look at the Switch version, and I'm like, that looks very similar to the PS4 and the Xbox One version when it's in handheld mode. When I was looking at some of the gameplay, like Philip put up his gameplay. And I was like, wow, that looks like it has some of the same special edition like features and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, we still don't even have like direct feed of that game, which is still crazy. We have a lot of off-camera stuff or camera off-screen stuff. So
and that is weird because NBA 2K18 was the exact same way. And I remember like in the weeks and like because all they showed was that one little bit during the Nintendo Direct, and then everything else was off camera, and so people were like nervous as hell that it was going to be like shitty looking, and I'm like, nah, I don't know, man. From what I've seen, it looks pretty good as someone who's played the game to death. And then when I finally got it, I was like, holy shit, how did they do this?
Yeah, they just cut the frame rate down, right? It looks almost exactly the same otherwise.
Yeah. I mean, it looks phenomenal. Like it's mind blowing how good it looks. And I think the WWE 2K18, my buddy Wood. From Beat 'em Ups, he's like, it's gonna be shit, mate, and I'm like, why? They haven't shown anything. I was like, they did the same thing with 2K18 WWE.
Have you seen the game as it is now? Oh man, is it bad?
Yeah,
it is one of the funniest things to watch.
I mean, that series is just once they went to that yearly formula, it started getting stagnant, and then you can only do so much. It's like they just need to cut back on a lot of shit.
There was they're using a new engine, but it's so broken because it's almost like EA trying to use Frostbite and Mass Effect. It just doesn't work. Like you have like there was that image going around. It was like a little video on Twitter that I know everyone has seen where like a table put John Cena in like an ankle lock.
What?
You didn't see any stuff?
It was
That's
the couch.
awesome.
It was the couch.
Yeah.
Leave the couches area.
And they have like stuff where people are going like insane, like they're like the bodies are like ragdolling all over the place. They're going through objects, like they're going like somebody posted an image or a video of them in like a steel cage match, and the idea is to get outside the cage. And they just fell through the wall and won.
Wow, good. Break the world to win.
It's broken as it is on the PS4 and the Xbox One. I understand why it's not on the Switch yet. It's not good.
Yeah, I mean, I still want it though. This is a portable wrestling game. It's like
no, I get it.
I'll find some enjoyment out of it, but it's definitely lower on my list.
But I think they said it was only going to be 6 people in the ring at once on the Switch. I think that was one limitation they said, but that was about it.
I mean, it's probably for the better. I've played as someone who's played this. I mean, the problem is when you start incorporating like the ladders and tables and you in the multiple player matches, everything goes to shit.
I used to play No Mercy.
More objects and things slamming into each other.
Yeah, I used to play No Mercy, and I used to play Here Comes the Pain on the PS2. One of my favorite games, actually.
Those are like two of the best of all time.
Okay, there you go.
You've been very lucky, but like these newer ones, I mean, like that shit you're describing, I've seen that since WWE 2K13. Like,
oh man.
Like I remember specifically like doing a match and John Morrison was in the match, so that really dates it. It had to be like, 13 or 14.
I remember him from way back when.
Yeah, and like he got a ladder like stuck around his neck, and like his neck just stretched across the screen, and then it came back, and it just kept doing that. And me and my friend were like, "What's going on?"
Oh,
it's just
man,
it's just been a buggy mess forever, and it always just gets a pass. And I'm like, what is wrong with you people?
It's because it's the only show in town, right? That's it.
Yeah.
There's no other.
Write the rule book.
Yeah, it's what happens with the Madden.
Yeah.
It's the way it goes, you know. You all you gotta do is pay enough money and you get rid of the competition. I hate those licensing deals, by the way. I do not like those. There's no competition then. Oh man. Let's see. Well, we did talk a little bit of there, but we didn't talk about Visceral shutting down, and this was a hot topic this past week. Hot topic. People were not happy. EA is all over the place on this thing because I've seen so many quotes from other people. Who you call it? Jason Schreier from Kotaku said it wasn't because it was single player. Apparently the game was a mess, which we haven't seen any footage of it, so I can't tell you one way or the other. It's telling that we haven't seen any footage of it. Maybe it was a mess. But they went very far with it. They did not like what Visceral was doing with the game to the point that they are willing to shut the entire studio down. Which is insane because they've been around since 1998.
Yeah. And I played some of their earliest stuff. And also, I hate when stuff like that happens because we've seen games that had really bad core pieces of them that they end up managing to rework and they become awesome. Like, I don't know if y'all have ever seen the alpha version of Borderlands, but it is the most generic, brown, shitty space shooter you have ever seen in your life. And they were like mostly done with it. And at the last minute, they're like, it's missing something. And they brought in like another team to try and spruce it up. And that's when they came up with more jokes, the cel-shaded art style, really cranking up the shoot and loot aspect of it. And now it's like a very famous franchise. It's like, this probably was salvageable. I hate that they just came in and went, nope, you're all fired, bye.
Yeah, it was like they were so mad about it that they got rid of them. Almost like it would go against their core business really plan right now, which is microtransactions. And right, the way that they worded it changes in the marketplace, right? All this stuff. It sounds like Amy Hennig and the group, they were like, let's make an Uncharted Star Wars. That's what it sounds like they're making. And right? Like when I heard that, I was like,
well, before we even saw, because we've only seen like 15 seconds of gameplay, but even before we heard that, as soon as it was Amy Hennig, one of the masterminds behind Uncharted, is going into the Star Wars universe with full freedom, I was like, yes, already. You could make an $80 special edition and I'd still pre-order it.
Leo said there was a leaked opening for, what is that, SMO on NeoGAF?
People are spamming in chat that somebody's leaking all of Super Mario Odyssey right now, actually.
Oh, man. Really?
So, yeah. And
did you see?
There was a tweet. Stupid as shit because all it's doing is making Nintendo do what they're doing and not.
Yes.
I haven't talked about this a lot, but this podcast isn't posted to YouTube. It's posted to the Patreon and podcast. So or was that SoundCloud, Evan?
SoundCloud and iTunes. Yep. I linked that up.
I don't mind. I haven't talked about this publicly on YouTube, and I haven't talked about it publicly on Twitter because I'm like, Nintendo's handling their business, but they're not going to really hear any of this, so I don't care as much. Yeah, there is some bad stuff. We'll get back to Visceral in a second, but because this is all happening and people are mad on NeoGAF, so they're just leaking stuff and everything. So people in Europe have Super Mario Odyssey already, right? People are posting pictures of it, ambassadors there, and then I'm hearing from people in the chat right now that it was leaked in China and Taiwan already. Probably again, ambassadors and stuff. And the way that they decided to rectify it was to stop. Nintendo of America put their foot down hard because it was Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga got leaked, right? Am I thinking right?
Yes.
Yes. So they put their foot down hard by essentially sending us Mario Odyssey on the day it comes out, which I'm still happy that they're sending it to us, but it's like it's very difficult for us to do any kind of content beforehand because that game, we already know that game's going to be big. I mean, it's not going to be a quick game to finish or do anything with. So unfortunately, it's kind of like everyone suffers because these two idiots over here decide to give the game away ahead of time.
Yeah. Yep. So I went to a Nintendo event here in Dallas, Texas, just a couple days ago, and I was curious about the whole Mario Odyssey situation. So I was specifically talking to the Nintendo employees there, and they were making it sound like they think that maybe some people inside Nintendo are responsible for all these leaks. Like maybe they're not posting it online, but they're accidentally giving it to people that are just the type that leak stuff all the time. So it sounds like maybe internally Nintendo is about to completely rework how they have to do review code.
Well,
so
here's the interesting thing. They actually know who leaked Mario Superstar Saga.
Yeah, they have his 3DS code.
Yeah, so then they figured that out, but still they had to be like, oh, well, we got to crack down big time here. And Mario Odyssey is big enough to where I know they need to do that because they can't trust people not to leak the game. It's kind of hard to trust people not to post video of the game that they're not supposed to. Yeah. But still, you have people sign stuff, and I assume it's to the point where you can go get them if you really want to. Like they have everyone sign stuff.
I mean, am I allowed to take shots at people on this?
I don't care.
If you like, I'll just say I'll hide under my desk.
YouTube.
No, like that piece of shit, Josh Thomas. Like that's why he's such a bitter fucker because he kept breaking NDA stuff, and then Nintendo was just like, okay, you don't get any more stuff. Like that's what I don't get. Like just do it like you did to him. Just say, okay, you don't get anything anymore. That's it. Game over. Like I don't know. Luckily for Nintendo enthusiasts, we are based out of Canada, and Canada's a little different. So we're good in the hood over there. But yeah, as far as like NOA, like that's why a lot of Fire Emblem Warrior reviews didn't really go out because nobody got the game.
That's too bad.
Yeah,
that's kind of a shame.
Yeah, it was just it sucks, man. It sucks when when you're trying to do stuff and do reviews and stuff and you can't really notify people. But
Brian Christian was like, go off RGT.
I just that guy, he's like
I've never heard of him.
I keep hearing people talk about him. I don't know who the guy is, but there are a lot of people on YouTube that don't seem to like the guy.
He's been around for a long time, and like I used to be impartial towards him, but he's just gotten worse and worse, like progressively worse and worse because the Switch isn't what he wanted it to be, and the games coming out for it are not the games he wants. He's like a big Animal Crossing fan, and I think if they announced Animal Crossing, like he would just like be amazed by it. But like because there's no Animal Crossing, like he's just this bitter, sad person, and he's just like a dick to people for no reason. Like I always comment at him and getting little spats, but
so I always say that's the difference between a good reviewer and a bad reviewer. A good reviewer can sit down, play a game and a series they don't like and understand what's good about it. A bad reviewer is somebody who comes in with so much baggage they can play a good game, hate it, and then only rip it apart. And I feel like that guy sounds like that type of dude.
He is, and he's just a very strange individual, and like he was very upset about Samus Returns coming to the 3DS and not the Switch, even though because like I had a discussion with him, he said the Switch has had no games this year, and I'm like, what are you talking about? I was like, dude, it's had more games this year than the Wii U had in its whole freaking life. Let's be honest here. And he was like, well, no, there's nothing new. And I'm like, what are you talking about? You had Splatoon 2, you had ARMS, which is a new IP, you had Zelda. And he was like, well, I didn't like ARMS, and Splatoon 2 was just an upgrade to Splatoon 1. And I was like, well, that's how sequels usually are. And so when we got to the root of it, it was just like, it's games that I was like, so it's games you don't like. And he was like, yeah. And I was like, okay, all because you don't like the game doesn't make it a bad game. Like, you know, there are games that I am not a fan to play the game, but they're still good games. I could still understand they're good. Get Knights of the Old Republic. I don't like to play that game because I'm not a big fan of the combat. I understand it's a great game though. Like it is what it is. It's just like, Jesus Christ.
That's interesting. He doesn't like Mario Odyssey? Or it just hadn't been out yet. And
it hasn't been out yet.
Nothing's been okay. Yeah.
And Zelda was a Wii U game, and I'm like, okay, like yeah, but
my thing is, if nothing else, we can really respect the fact that the Switch has become such an amazing indie machine. Like I play primarily what I play on my Switch is indie games, and that's something I never thought I'd say. Like now it's become where I play big giant AAA stuff or online stuff is my PlayStation 4, but if my friends are coming over and I want to play like a twin stick shooter like Judge or Neon Chrome, I'll turn on the Switch and bust out some controllers, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And then we have oh, there you go. Sean Kuro Tengetsu 91 asked, who are you talking about?
Josh Thomas, his channel used to be called The Bit Block, and now it is called Nintendo Beyond. I mean, he's just, I disagree with him a lot, and I think he's not very practical in his thinking.
Okay,
that's all.
Fair enough. Yeah. Now I think it's interesting because the Switch has what I think are going to be 2 Game of the Year contenders that'll probably be fighting each other for Game of the Year, which is probably Zelda and Mario at this point. Edge gave it, I think, a 10 out of 10. Which is, I think, the 20th 10 out of 10 they've ever given. And then Famitsu, I think, gave it, a 39 out of 40?
Yeah.
So I think we're going to get to that point where Metacritic is going to be a very high score, very similar to Zelda. And I think we'll get to that point where we'll get to the end of the year. Horizon Zero Dawn will be there. Zelda will be there. Mario will be there. I'm trying to think of other games that would also be there. I know there's still games to come out.
I have a list of what I think. So... we do that. Yakuza 0 scored high. Nier Automata.
Nier could be up there, yeah.
Yeah. Neo, Injustice 2 got a bunch of high scores, in Persona 5.
I could see Persona 5 being in there. Like if we're trying to pick out games that appeal to a lot of people. The thing about fighters, man, fighters are so hard to get Game of the Year. I think it's
I'd be surprised if it made the list. Yeah, because even though it was awesome, it's still a niche community it was awesome for. So
I'll say that I've been taking notes, which is what these notes are. Is basically my notes for the best games of the year so far, so that when I write my best games in December, I'll have it compiled. And I think Injustice 2 is actually going to be up there for me. It is just that freaking good.
Yeah, absolutely, sure. I just think it's hard for people to grasp fighting games as being Game of the Year because it's just like a 1 versus 1 type thing. And Justice 2 has an awesome story though, so it's pretty cool.
Yeah, well, it's so hard to hold that up next to Zelda and go, here's this 100-hour epic experience, and check out this finisher where you punch a dude in the nads.
Yeah, or even like Persona, where they have a really well thought out, interesting story and everything. And it's it's tough. I think I could see Persona, Horizon, and those 2, Mario and Zelda, absolutely being 4 candidates for Game of the Year at the end of the year, because we have December. We have the what is that, the Game Awards show?
I don't know. There's so many, and they all have a name that's like one letter.
I'll watch it. I'm actually probably gonna stream it and watch it. Like
the Video Game Awards with Jeff Keighley.
Dude, that was one of my. I think that was my biggest streams. Was that?
If you stream it, I'll sit in there just for fun with you during the stream. Just because, like, I'm definitely not gonna make a video about it, but I'll stream it just for fun.
I was trying to figure out how to turn on the sad violin, I was trying to figure out how to turn on music so I could play like the Hulk walking away music while what's his name was like having like a love poem to what's his name?
Jeff Keighley and Kadima.
Yeah.
It was funny. Jeff Keighley made a tweet about the thing, and I was just like, can we just cancel it this year? And
I saw that. Yeah.
He got this big thing about it, and like people I'm friends with were like, oh, Jeff, it's great, blah, blah, blah. Like, okay, he's not gonna put you on the show. You don't have to kiss his ass. Like,
I think the problem is they don't show all the awards. They kind of jump around and then they leave some out. It's like you have so much time.
That was my big complaint.
They announced. Somebody was retweeting Jeff Keighley the other day that they're inventing new categories, and one of them was like friendliest indie game or something weird like that. Of like it's like a co-op. I don't know. Literally like the most pat on the back weird award sometimes.
Friendliest indie game.
I swear to God, it was something like that. Of like it's like which one get the fifis? Like I don't know.
Oh, this was a good question because I saw this come up. I don't really participate in these kind of discussions on the channel because I'm like so nailed to the wall most of the week with news stuff. Because of course I went the way of news, which was probably not the best. Looking back on the hindsight, it's really helped the channel, but like doing that, man, you don't have time for much else. But this is Kira Tengetsu 91 asked if I know, Sean, you made a whole video on this. Did you guys see Player Essence response to Retech USA taking credit for Nintendo gaming getting more third-party support? This was an interesting topic that went around. Essentially, what's happening is it seems like people who were heavily criticizing Nintendo in the past are saying that there's now third-party support coming to Nintendo because they were so critical of them. And actually, Sean, you can probably describe it better than I can because I didn't really take a look at the entire landscape. I saw like 2 videos.
Yeah, that's pretty much the gist of it. Like Rich wasn't saying himself. He was just saying, people like him and, people that were very vocal about things. And I'm in my video, I just said, that's your YouTubers in the grand scheme of things, I don't feel are that important. Like, I don't think companies are making, multi-million-dollar decisions based on that. I think my whole thing was you have to thank Nintendo for it because Nintendo realized, hey, third parties aren't on the Wii U. And, you look at games that are coming to the Switch, games like Doom and Skyrim. Both of those games are big third-party games that are being published by Nintendo. So thank them. Like,
I 100% like. I try and not pat a company on the back unless I fully think they deserve it. And I think we have to give Nintendo so much credit because clearly they understood that the Wii U is one of their biggest failures in company history. And instead of just trying to go in a totally different direction or totally just count it as a loss, they actually sat down and restructured and made the switch. And so I don't know, I have to give them total credit for building these new bridges and allowing developers in an all new way. So man, tip of the hat to Nintendo.
So people don't really see this a lot because I see them all the time. There are surveys that go out for Nintendo every 2 weeks, basically, to people who opt in, sign up, or even just have their email at some point in time with Nintendo. I think they probably even buy email lists, to be honest, from like GameStop and stuff, but that's a whole other thing. I actually take some of these surveys occasionally, and sometimes they ask, what do you like about this system? One time it was the Wii U, and what do you hate about the system? It was like the 3DS. So they definitely poll people a lot, and I think you're right, Sean. I don't think they care what YouTubers think for the most part. To a degree they do, but it's only one person, right? It's not like they have a better chance to poll a ton of people, and they do all the time. If you look in some of your spam filters, you'll probably find some polls from Nintendo asking you. Remember, Microsoft even sent out surveys. That's how we found out about the Super Nintendo Classic. It was because Microsoft asked us, what systems do you guys like? And the Super Nintendo Classic was on there. And we're like, oh, thanks, Microsoft. They focus groups are heavy. Focus groups are kind of misleading sometimes, but they get a lot out of polls because it's so easy to send them out. I think they get one out of every 20 or something like that. There's a statistic I remember seeing. It's like 1 out of every 20 they'll get back, and they send out thousands. And I have a feeling somewhere on one of them it was like, what do you need on the Wii U for it to be better or something? And there was probably a checkbox that was like more third-party support, and it probably came back like 90% more third-party support. They don't, trust me, they don't sit down in their back office or wherever within their conference room with their big fluffy chairs and everything, and then turn on a projector and like, this is Spawn Wave. He says we need more third-party support.
Yeah, exactly.
You're gonna watch Newswave. Now, I will confirm though, from every developer I've ever talked to though, is after a game comes out, a lot of times they'll all get together a couple days or a week after launch, and they'll actually, in a boardroom, a lot of times watch a lot of the big reviews to try and listen to feedback to know what they need to patch. Sure. That's weird. Is I have met developers before who are like, "Oh yeah, we watched your video about," like, I've met them at a convention, like, "We watched your video about such and such in a boardroom." It's like, oh, that makes me self-conscious. Jesus.
Oh yeah, I think, but it's a little different to get someone's opinion on a game.
A single product.
Mechanics and stuff. It's another for them to just turn on the lights and be like, all right, guys, today we're going to listen to Spawn Wave, or we're going to listen to Dreamcast Guy. He's going to tell us how to run our business today.
Exactly.
But
people thought the Wii U was bad. This is news to us.
Someone said this is Spawn Wave. Behold, just on like on the big projector. They do listen to people though. To say they don't is dumb, but they're not basing their entire business on people with cameras in their house. They put a lot more. I'm gonna tell you now. They put a lot more into focus groups, and because they can get diverse focus groups. Like people who are middle-aged, like people who are 50, people who are like 18, and then they go from there. But I do think it was a mix of everything, and it was eventually got to the point where they were like, maybe we do need third-party support. So, but I don't think people who were very critical, people who were very apologetic, and it was just they did their market research, they figured out what they needed, and that's kind of where it ended. But I think I watched your show. I think you were pretty much dead on about it being kind of a combination of things.
Yeah, I mean, there's no one individual factor. If you want to make it one individual factor, it's Nintendo. Like, come on. And I think it's funny, like, some people were mentioning a certain YouTuber's name who has, like, 20-something thousand subscribers, which, that's a lot of subscribers. But they were, like, taking credit, like, fully for it. And I'm like, okay, come on. Like, you're being silly now. Like, if you had, like, 100,000, 500,000, all right. But, it's 20,000? Come on, buddy.
Yeah. Again, though, most YouTubers, I should say, most don't have, these business degrees or haven't been running Nintendo for, a while. So it's, there's a lot of stuff that goes on in the background. So I'm saying that we don't know about. So this is Universal Juan. Oh, they're subbed to all of us. Very nice. Did you sub to Evan too? Evan, what's your gaming channel?
It's Kimmerix Games, but it's not necessary.
Kimmerix Games.
As long as you're subbing to Spawn Wave, the little things, animations, just random edits. It's probably a little bit of me and all of that. So,
okay. Great crew tonight. Yes, the late edition, I think, of Sean put everything over the top here. Just missing OJ. OJ is very busy. He's been getting videos up left, right, and center right now. So
good lord, yeah, he has.
Yes, yeah. He is pushing. He's pushing hard, man. He's pushing hard. He got a nice little sub boost. He's pushing hard, man. He works hard. Insert witty, lovable, and relevant comment here. Oh, that's easy. Just be like, Evan, I love your beard. Something off like kilter. Thank you though. Thank you. We enjoy doing the little podcast and stuff. So let's okay, so back to Visceral. We kind of went all over the place there, right? Back to Visceral.
Nice hour-long aside.
Visceral deserves a little more time, I think, here. Because to have who's this? Coloco. He said, "Sup, my dudes. Always been appreciated your channel. Always have appreciated your channels. Give me a shout out if possible." Okay, Coloco.
There it is.
There you go, Coloco.
Go
check him. Go check him out.
Yeah, man. This whole Visceral thing is so. Obviously, they're probably most well known for Dead Space, and that's what I love them most for. Like, holy hell! Like, I was so into Dead Space. I still have the Game Informers. Actually, I collected the Game Informers. I read all the behind-the-scenes stuff of how they made the games, about how they actually got photographs of like people who were in car accidents and had really bad wounds in order to get the ideas for their horrible monsters. Because they're like, okay, we need to have stuff that looks like it's made out of a person, but still has to be a person. If you
wait, they actually went. Did they actually go to the accident site? And
no, they had photographs of it though. And what's funny is they talked about that the artists were actually vomiting when they were first being shown these photos because they're like horrific injuries that a lot of times people died from. But they're like, but we need these photographs, and they touch that by the end of the development because these would just be giant, high resolution, awful photographs on their walls for months during the processing phase. And so they're like, at the end, they're like, at this point, like someone just gets their wrist cut. It's like, oh, it's fine. Trust me, I've been staring at this for years. We're good.
Oh, that's crazy, man. Oh,
so, I mean, they just had so much dedication to that project. So the idea that team is now out of work is genuinely heartbreaking.
The creators that brought us Cyber Tiger from those minds.
Dude, Dante's Inferno, man.
Yeah, Dante's Inferno, that was a good one too. I actually like that game. A lot of people were like, it's a God of War ripoff. Yeah, so what? It was different. You know?
It had a very unique take on the visual aesthetic. It was great.
Well, see, I'm not a God of War person, but I beat the hell out of Dante's Inferno 2 times.
Yeah, I like Dante's Inferno. I thought it was so weird, right? There were so many weird visuals in that game.
Yeah. Well, and I like that it felt very hallway-ish, and I actually kind of like that. Like every level was just basically like Walk over here. Now it's demon babies. Okay, now walk over here. Now it's slutty babies. Like, okay.
It was yeah, it was sad because then they put up on Twitter, I think you guys saw a picture of their staff just standing there basically on their way out, essentially is what it looks like, you know. That was sad to see because there's a lot of people that they're just losing their job right there. I was kind of looking in the crowd. I was like, where's the middle finger? You know, where's the person just giving the camera the finger? But it sounds like this was the cool thing though. This is so neat to see. On Twitter, you saw all kinds of companies that were like, "Hey, we're hiring." I saw Ubisoft do it.
Epic Games did it.
Epic Games did it. Yes, that was the other one. There were a couple that were just like, "Hey, we're hiring. Send your resume over here." So I'm hoping a lot of them found jobs. I would have loved to see one of them or a group of them even go to Kickstarter and say, "We can't call it Dead Space, but you know, we're gonna make another Dead Space if you guys want it." And then people fund it because that thing would break $1 million overnight.
Yeah.
I didn't realize they did one of my favorite Wii games, third-party games. That was The Godfather. The Godfather on the Wii.
Godfather 1 and 2.
The Godfather on the Wii was freaking awesome.
And they did 007 All or Nothing on the original Xbox and GameCube.
And Under Fire. Yep.
Yeah. I was just gonna say, that they were some of the most actiony 007 games ever made. It was the only studio that was like, "What if you gave 007 6 machine guns?" Like, I don't know, let's figure it out.
I have a cool spinoff from this topic. Somebody, Carry 2060, dropped in the chat. What about the last Pokemon game on 3DS, Pokemon Ultra Sun and Moon? I'm not really sure. Oh, maybe they're talking about for the
how it's the last one. They're saying that it's the last one.
Are you talking about? What about the last Are they talking about?
I think he's referring that. Well, I think he's referring to the fact that these are we now officially know that these will be the last Pokemon ever on 3DS, which is a console that had a lot of Pokemons.
Yes, yeah, that's going to be it did because you can play all the DS ones on it too.
Yeah.
That had like all of them. Yeah, that's gonna be it because next month or next year we'll have the new Pokemon game on the Switch. More than likely, I still think they're going to get that game out in 2018 because I think it's going to be a spinoff of Sun and Moon. Probably will be Stars, but it's going to be a spinoff. It'll use the same engine. Probably it'll just look better on the Switch, and that'll sell like madness. Like it'll be apps. If you think it's hard to find a Switch now, wait till Pokemon comes out. Oh my gosh. There was the great 3DS drought of that one Christmas was because Pokemon came out. Impossible to find a 3DS. They were up to $300 on eBay, and it was just because of Pokemon. It's crazy.
I went to an anime convention to visit a friend of mine about 5 months after that happened, and literally every person in every line was playing Pokemon. Like literally thousands of people in a room, all Pokemon on 3DS. Damn.
There are people who are like fans of other systems and stuff, but they don't realize because they're generally in like their bubble with their system, whether it's, let's say, an Xbox, PS4, whatever. They don't seem to understand how powerful Pokemon is. Like, I've seen this. There were people, because I was a long time ago on the podcast, and this was when I was first starting out. I think I had like 5,000 subscribers. They had no idea how strong of an IP Pokemon is. Like, none. They didn't understand that it was a big seller. And I was like, you realize that Pokemon, when it comes out, like Sun and Moon, I think together was like over 15 million or something in like the last quarter of what was it, 2016? Obscene amounts of games sell. So what do you think is going to happen when the Switch version comes out? The first time it's ever been on a home console. It's going to be
insane.
The fans that are so devout. So totally true story. My old boss, John, proposed to his wife the day after Pokemon X and Y came out. They like went to the midnight release. They played it like all day together because they were both giant Pokemon fanatics. They went to sleep. They woke up, and over breakfast, I swear to God, he had a Pokeball ring and said, "I choose you." And they got married. They had a big Pokemon ceremony. John and Jazz. So yeah, remember, Pokemon is a cult. Don't drink the poison.
Kuru Tengetsu 91 asked about Roger's Base. I've seen Roger's Base. If there's anyone you want on the SpawnCast, you can just tweet at them on Twitter. But I'm asking around all the time, so I'm always paying attention to any new ideas for people to come on the SpawnCast. So I will look into Roger's Base, though. Absolutely.
He's a busy fellow.
Yeah, that's what I thought. So
a lot
yeah.
of them are. We keep getting people telling us about all these people throughout the week. I get messages on Twitter and stuff, and I send them to John, but we don't really hear back from a lot of them.
No, that's the way it goes sometimes. But you get pretty busy with YouTube sometimes. There's a lot of stuff happening, especially if you if you get to a point, because I know Roger Space over 100,000 subscribers. You get to a point where like the company will recognize you, and then they'll even like fly you out, like they did with him and CND, I think, to California actually for Metroid. So
I have
it to that point.
If you want CND on here, I actually have an in with that.
Same.
So
I'm good. His editor.
Yeah. So
everybody knows editors.
I can
wait. You can get editors.
Well, this guy specifically, he's a really big movie buff, and he's a really great editor, and he's been editing for all sorts of channels like Game Chasers for years. And finally, he got a full-time gig. He's now the editor for C&D. And C&D's making bank because of it now, because C&D always made great stuff, but it took him so long to edit. So now that he has a dedicated editor and he just has to film, that dude's putting out like daily videos like crazy now.
Thick Boy?
Yeah, Thick Boy. Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
I just saw him last weekend at Retro.
Sean can get that. Someone said get Wood on. Sean knows Wood.
Oh, yeah. I'm talking to Wood right now.
Dr. Wiley. I've actually been on a couple of videos with Dr. Wiley. He's actually pretty cool. He actually watches my videos. He comments sometimes. I've talked to Arlo a lot. That's something I'm trying to get worked out with him.
Yeah, that's just the way to get him on. That's what we've been doing.
Yeah, that's something I would like to do too. I don't think the Game Explain people know who I am, so I don't think that'll work out. When you're as small as me in the grand scheme of things, it's hard to.
I would love to talk to Andres Seegers. I've watched a lot of like 2 and 3 hour podcasts where he talks about what it was like founding Game Explain, about leaving. He was working for IGN and he just decided like to quit one day and start Game Explain, and he just had no idea what he was doing. Like nobody at IGN actually knew how to do YouTube. There was just like this YouTube team who handled all the videos, and they were like the on-camera people. And so he was like, okay, I guess I'm gonna go make a YouTube channel. And he like lost money for years, and now it's this giant thing. But damn, he got lucky.
Etika has no idea who I am either, so he probably won't come on here either. I don't get out a lot. Like I don't like a lot of YouTubers meet up places and stuff. I don't get out. I don't go anywhere.
Yeah,
I need to go next year. I'm gonna start going to more conventions and stuff. Like I will film Newswave in my hotel room if I have to.
Where do you live? Don't you live in the Northeast?
I live in Maryland, very close to Delaware, like the northeastern part of Maryland. Like it's like a little over 2.5 hours from here to New York. It's like an hour to Baltimore. It's like an hour to Philadelphia. So I can like get around. I'm like in like the area of like I think it's the furthest place is like Boston is like 5 hours. But I'm like in there. I'm like close enough to get places.
Yeah,
I'm actually thinking of moving back up to the Northeast.
Oh yeah,
next year. I'm in North Carolina, and it's like, why am I here? There's nothing for me here. I keep going to the Northeast to do all these cons. It's like I just need to go back up there.
Just get it. Just if you move up here, get in Delaware, because like I can't get any good internet speed here. But if I go like 3 miles that way, I can get like 100 up and 100 down for like $40 a month.
Yeah. I gotta say, go to Texas as well. Moving to Texas, we have tons and tons of conventions here. Like almost every month, there's some sort of major convention.
Yeah, that's another place. Like Philly, Delaware, or Texas. I actually haven't looked at rentals in Delaware, but that's a good idea. And it seems like it's not that expensive.
Oh man, so I knew somebody was going to say this in the super chat. I knew it. I was actually going to make a video at some point about this, or just shout them out at some point in the live. If you guys want to see an awesome YouTube channel, this is one of my favorite channels right now. And I was going to make a video where I talk about some of the YouTube channels that I watch, because there are some really cool YouTube channels that are much smaller than they should be. This is a newer one called Game Hut. I don't know if you guys have checked this out at all.
No, I haven't heard of them.
One of the coolest channels I've seen, very new. Growing very fast, too. They're 34,000 subscribers now. They worked on, I think, Sonic 3D Blast originally on the Genesis. Like, they were a developer, I believe, for it. And they show you all the cool tricks. How did they get full motion video working on the Genesis? And they show you how they divided the lines up and did all this cool stuff to make it all fit into the cartridge. And they're actually they're trying to fix Sonic 3D or Sonic 3D Blast right now, and they're calling it Sonic 3D Sonic 3D Blast Director's Cut. They're even putting Super Sonic in there, but they're fixing everything in the game for like a ROM that you can download or a patch. Very, very cool channel. I like it a lot. I don't know if they have an infinite amount of content that they can pull from, because it sounds like they have a lot of experience with Sonic 3D Blast and Sonic in general. But very cool channel to just kind of go and watch. I'll put the link in the
yeah, I'm looking at it right now. Whoa.
So
do they have any sort of ETA? I would love to play this.
They're making some quick progress, because they just put out a video about how they already got Supersonic working. So it's very cool. I like watching some of the things about how they got this and that to work, and that's it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. Yeah, we'll get a bunch of people on the SpawnCast as we go forward. It's actually getting to a point where it's big enough to where I think it's enticing to people to come on here. So I think it's getting to that point.
Haydock, somebody said Haydock's I'm friends with him, so maybe I'll ask him.
Oh, there you go.
He's very busy. He's in college now, so making videos and going to college is really slamming the shit out of him.
Sure. Yeah. We'll get some smaller people on here too to help them out. Like Max, you knew a few people that are a little smaller, right?
Yeah, everybody I've talked to, though, the problem is it seems like every small YouTuber is really clawing their way up. Also, is the type of dude who's working 60 hours a week at a day job. Like, if y'all have never heard of iRetroGamer, he's probably the most unique YouTuber on the entire site. His father was trying to make a documentary about video games in the 90s, so he had like an early like HD giant camera, and he basically went to all these major gaming events like the unveiling of Sonic and stuff, and he recorded all this HD footage. And when he passed away in 2005, he gave the collection to his son, and so he decided, okay, I guess I'll just upload this to YouTube. So he like cuts them together like documentaries, and they feel so much like modern YouTube videos. It almost feels like a time traveler vlogging the early 90s of gaming. It's insane.
Oh, I forgot about that. We did C&D does know who we are. That's right, because we rated his channel. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's right.
Well, he was telling a depressing story. He was like, all right, they came up to me on the street. Spawn. What's going on?
Yeah. He's like, what's going on? What does it say? Spawn? What's Spawn? I remember that. Yeah, so he does. He knows who we are. That's good. Now that we've kind of gone off on a tangent again here, my topic kind of spin off of this entire situation with EA and at this point Visceral closing down an entire studio, because it seems like Visceral was not interested in, well, kind of playing by the corporate rules. I have a feeling they designed an entire game to not utilize loot crates or loot boxes or microtransactions. I feel like they were just like we were talking about, building like a straight up story based Star Wars that wouldn't be able to leverage that kind of thinking or that kind of monetization. So as a lot of people are talking about, are the big AAA single player games like on their way out? Like, are we getting to a point where you need to just do that, like from EA, because every single player game coming out now that is like from them, even like a game like Shadow of War, I'm sorry, has loot boxes.
A disgusting amount, in my opinion.
Yeah, you didn't like that at all, Max. You said that there was like a wall that you hit, and that's it.
Yes, very much so. The final act, basically. Well, it's not quite the final act, but basically you get to the end, and you're constantly taking over huge chunks of the map, and each place you dominate, you now are literally the king of that fort. And then at the end, all your forts start getting attacked at once. And so it becomes a horrible micromanagement, like defend every base at once. And the easiest way to do that is to just buy a couple loot crates.
But I'm trying to figure out what like the next big AAA single player game is going to be that doesn't have any of these monetization strategies in them. And I've been looking down lists, and I'm having a hard time finding them, like ones that's from a third party, because first party developers still have a reason to make these single player games, because their goal is different from third parties. Their goal is to push hardware. Third parties don't care about selling hardware. But like we see Destiny 2, which has dropped off significantly, by the way. They've lost 2 million users already. It's already fallen to like, I think 1.5 million. They're up to 3.5 at one point. Dropped 2 million since launch. There's nothing to do in the end game. That's why. But I don't really. South Park, sure. Yeah, South Park doesn't have any loot boxes or anything, right?
Well, and Wolfenstein's not going to have any loot boxes.
Yes, that's a good one too. It seems like Bethesda's the one making most of these single player games that don't use them, right?
Yeah, but we're all, I mean, I can think of a lot of stuff like Sonic Mania, or what's the Hell?
Yeah, I guess that Hellblade, but
I feel
that's considered like
Hellblade,
a
yeah.
Hellblade, right?
Yeah. I still feel like we're seeing a lot of them, but the problem is the ones that. So my thing is, I think we're still getting a lot of games that do it right. The problem is the games that do it wrong do it so evil that we have to have like public outcry. Like the fact that freaking Battlefront 2, Battlefront 2, basically gambling for upgrades is ridiculous.
Yep. Then we'll talk about another a little epiphany that we had the other day as well. I made a video on that one, and it's pretty bad. Curating, so check out Dev. I will check all these people out that people are suggesting. Battlefront 2, it's not even like subtle. It's like roll the dice and hopefully you get that sweet blaster.
I heard where was I was talking to somebody, and they were talking about the fact that the investors are actually mad at them. So the people who paid the bills for them to make Star Wars Battlefront 2 were promised that it would be this big successful game. So they spent hundreds of millions of dollars, and they're like, okay, we're just going to like watch the news and make sure our game is being received well. And they're apparently mad because all of the talk right now is being broken loot crates, pre-orders canceled at record numbers and stuff. And so apparently the investors are actually fighting for us right now, of being like, okay, before this comes out, you have to remove at least a large chunk of this, because if this doesn't sell and we lose money, we're not funding you to pay it a third game.
Yeah, because that EA license has to be expensive.
Yeah.
So it can't be cheap. Star Wars license, it can't be cheap. This is from, that's actually a good question. Why do game studios get sucked into EA, knowing their history of destroying or tarnishing classic IPs? For example, Command & Conquer, Theme Park. EA's history is terrible. So they're asking why. All right, so sometimes they don't have a choice.
Yeah, no
yes,
options.
Exactly.
EA rolls in and is like, we're now your boss.
Well, or with Maxis, a lot of times they come out with a game that's less successful, or what's happened several times is you're working on a game for years and it's 80% done, but you literally are so broke you can't afford to print the discs. And EA comes in and goes, we'll print the game, you keep all the money, but we own you now. And then you make the game, it doesn't make a ton of money, and they're like, and you're dead. Like that, people don't understand that a lot of times it's desperation.
Yep, you get to that point. But like something like Visceral, EA's owned them for forever. Like, I mean, they used to be known as EA Redwood or something. What were they known as? They changed their name to Visceral after a while, but EA just had them forever. But any of these companies, yeah, you're right, Max, they just run out of money, and they're like, what do? We have to sell our soul to somebody. They do it to EA because they believe in their games so much, they're willing to do that. And then they trust the wrong people. And
well, this actually happens a lot. Like, I mean, look at I hate to bring up No Man's Sky and defend them in a small bit here, but No Man's Sky, those guys sold their houses. Like, everybody sold their house. Everybody basically bet their entire lives on this. All 16 dudes basically got shitty little apartments and spent years working on No Man's Sky, and they were just burning money like crazy. And then Sony stepped in and said, okay, we'll pay your rent. Just keep working on the game. We'll do the advertising. And then it just spirals and gets hyped out of control. And so a team of 16 guys who are trying to make a little indie game where you can dig holes on Mars is now being considered this $60 open world game you could play forever. And so everybody got pissed at these guys, where it's like, these were just random dudes who needed to lean on Sony, and Sony basically just threw them under the bus and took a paycheck.
Yeah, but then you see something like kind of a success story like Cuphead. Yeah, and Microsoft rolled in and helped fund that, despite them remortgaging their house and everything. Right, they did all this stuff to make it work, and then it comes out the other end, and it's a massive success. Has everyone played that game, by the way?
Yes.
Yep.
And it's so crazy that game was 80% remade after the original display. That's so, like, because normally when you see a game that does that, it looks a little bit weird. You can see the glue holding it together, but man, that game is so seamless.
Dude, that is a great point in the chat right now from Squirrel Emperor. I don't really get it why some of these companies just locate into the most expensive parts of the country. Yeah. Like, all of them are located in. Why are you in San Francisco? Like,
so the tax write-off is really good. In certain parts of the world, you can actually get the local state will pay part of your development costs. Like, Maine specifically is hurting for tech jobs. So if you take an established game company and move to Maine, they will pay up to $1,000. it's like rent for up to 1,000 employees. So a lot of times companies will do that when they're hurt. There was Rhode Island.
Yeah, 38 stories.
Yeah. Rhode Island helped pay for Kingdoms of Amalur. They paid $2 million to help that get finished, and they lost all their money. But
had to sell off like all of his possessions.
Yep. Yeah. Exactly. So a lot of times people move to specific areas just because of the taxes.
Anonymous said, "Get Review Tech USA." I just recently started talking with him on Twitter, so maybe we'll see.
Yeah, he's a buddy of mine. We've talked a bit. Maybe I'll hit him up.
I've been on his channel.
Oh yeah, he talked about you in one of his videos, didn't he?
We did the Koki video too.
Yeah, he's talked about me in videos, but I'm not cool enough to be on there yet.
That was a good point though. I'd never thought about it because Bethesda, their studio is only like I think 45 minutes from me. So
I live right next to Gearbox. So a lot of my I end up getting a lot of sources because they're like live right up the street and they like murmur stuff about Borderlands 3 that they're not supposed to murmur.
Man, all these everyone has sources. I need to find sources. Where do I find sources?
Parties. A lot of it's just bumping into people. So much. I feel like
we have to go to so many more conventions.
Yeah, I see. That's the thing is I go to a lot of conventions and you just end up talking to people. Like there's a lot of times where you end up going to a party upstairs. Like I was sitting at a table with a bunch of the main people of Alienware Computers at a QuakeCon event, and these guys are just talking about how their company is expanding so fast and they still have no idea how Twitch works. They're like, yeah, we make billions of dollars a year, but we basically just give these computers to people and then make more money later, but we don't quite understand how we're doing it. It's like, maybe you guys shouldn't be telling this to me. What the hell?
Yeah, like John, that's why I told you, like some of the devs and people from Square Enix like knew us through the old Handheld Hero site because we went to like 3 parties at 2 different conventions with them. Like,
I don't want to get weird with these people. I just want to know what's coming out next year.
You don't have to get weird with them. You just hang out for a bit.
I mean, I send them pictures of my shirt off occasionally, and they give me links.
That's great. Yeah, I need to find this stuff. I was hoping that like if I got in contact with Bethesda, they would like give me a tour of the studio or something. But I don't think that'll happen.
The first place we got to contact them is at a convention. Like if we go up to anything really locally that they're at, we can just talk to them there and see what we can do.
Yeah, well, and that's how, man, Bethesda is really hard to get in with. And finally, I saw them at QuakeCon, and I managed to walk up and just talk to their head of PR was there. And I was like, hi, here's my business card. I've been trying to review your games, and it's very difficult. Can you just send them to me? And the guy was like, yeah, all right, we'll talk. I was like, okay, thank you. Jesus.
Nice. Okay, so we also had, we were supposed to get the MPDs on Thursday. We did not because there was a miscount somewhere, according to Matt. There was some issue with the NPDs, so we will see them on Monday, the actual rankings, everything. But Nintendo won the NPDs because, well, they decided to put out a press statement. And whenever you see those press releases come out about the NPDs from a company, that usually means that they won the month, and that's why they're doing it. So Nintendo said that they were #1 with the Switch out of the 3 consoles. They worded it in a strange way. They worded it in a way that I think the Super Nintendo Classic may have been the best-selling system of the month, to be honest, because they said the Switch was the best-selling console. And but according to them, if you take the Switch, the 3DS, and the Super Nintendo Classic, it makes up 2/3 of all hardware sales for the month. So apparently, apparently they just absolutely owned September, which is interesting because Destiny 2 came out, and there were plenty of bundled PS4s that were selling like crazy. Now, of course, I think a lot of people already had PS4s that bought Destiny, but still, you know how it goes. People trade system in. Oh, Destiny 2 is coming out. I got to go buy a system and get Destiny now. But it's. I was almost positive PlayStation was going to take September, and they didn't. Which is interesting. That means that out of the what's that now? Is that 6 months now that we're counting? Not 5, 6. I think all but 2 months that Switch has taken at this point. Because there were supply constraints and everything. But it's interesting because now we're to a point where the Switch is coming into what I think are its 2 strongest months because they have 2 games. They have Spider-Man, Far Cry 5, and they have Destiny 2. So Mario, which is going to push ridiculous. I mean, it's going to sell out all the Switches, we assume, right? Everyone's buying Switches for Mario. And so I assume going through that, and then November with some pretty good third party, and then, of course, December is Xenoblade. I mean, is this like... I don't know. Do you guys think that PlayStation or Xbox, even though the Xbox One X is coming out, do you think either of them are going to be able to take either of the months coming up?
No.
No, I think PlayStation 4 is going to come close just because it is such a powerhouse. But I think the reason why Nintendo's going to take first is I think Mario is really going to really appeal to the casual gamers. Such a huge chunk of my friends are people who like understand games but don't really participate in them. And ubiquitously, everybody has basically said, I'll buy Switch the day Mario comes out. So I think that's going to be a huge push of people who are finally be like, okay, I've got Zelda, I've got Mario Kart, and now I'm getting a Switch. You know.
So you don't think the fact that the Switch could become supply constraint could kind of handicap it a little bit against the PS4, because the PS4 is in stock like in full, in droves, and their projections are actually higher going into December for the year than Nintendo's from what they're projecting. They're projecting to sell quite a few in December. Sean, you don't think the possibility of the Switch becoming a supply constraint issue could stop it from taking something like December?
I don't.
Okay.
I think they still will, because I think they're ramping up production, and I think they actually are doing that. So I think they'll be fine.
Okay. Good. I would like to see them take December, to be honest. I think Sony has become mildly complacent, to be honest. I do. Their response to crossplay has, I think, shown that. And then I do think they are heavily. I mean, I look at the Christmas season. I see Sony really relying on third parties, much like the Xbox is going into the holiday season. Of course, beginning next year, Sony's going to have some first party stuff. But it seems like they were like 2 months ago or a month ago or whatever. They were like, all right, we're done for the year. Good luck, third parties. Push the PlayStation forward.
Right.
Well, bundles, I mean, people really, I feel like people completely underestimate the power of bundles. Bundles in the Christmas season sell like literally tens of millions of units. So since we are probably getting an Assassin's Creed bundle, we know there's a Call of Duty bundle, like all these different bundles, and there's rumored that there's going to be maybe a $200 PlayStation 4 that's going to come out in somewhere. Like stuff like that is going to burn up the store shelves. Like seriously,
pricing.
Like Sony is in a place profit-wise now where they can afford to take a loss on a couple sales like for 1 month in order to make it up later. And I guarantee you that if it comes out of it, they will play that card.
You think they'll just drop some price? Like even $250, I think is that's $50 cheaper on the Switch. But if they get down to $200, because I'm gonna tell you now, the Xbox One S is going to get to $200. It was $200 last year at Christmas time. With Minecraft, by the way, it will get down to $200 this Christmas. So I feel like Sony may want to try to match that. Even if they released like they have a terabyte model that's $250. Even if they came out with a 500 gig model just for the holidays, and it's like, hey, it's $200.
Yeah,
I think a lot of people would eat that up. You're right. So they at least have the pricing advantage, but the Switch definitely has the demand advantage. Everybody wants a Switch. So it's going to be interesting. I think everything will pretty much sell well. I even think the Xbox One X, believe it or not, will sell well. But I do think it'll lose steam very quickly. And I do think the Xbox One X, I think, will suffer at the beginning of next year badly, because it'll be hard to find a reason to buy it. Everyone's going to be buying 4K TVs along with that, probably like Christmas time. But then January, I don't think anyone's going to be like, I need an Xbox One X after buying all these Christmas presents and running up this credit card.
Yeah.
It becomes very difficult when you have $500 systems that, it's just, the Xbox One X, man, that is worrying me right now. I'm glad to hear you were going to buy one, Max, because I thought I was going to be the only one to buy one.
Well, dude, your tweet has been earlier, Spawnwave, earlier you were tweeting, maybe it was a couple days ago, but I saw it and it's been burning a hole in my brain. I think you're 100% onto something. That the Xbox One X may be Microsoft's attempt to just get on the board of the next generation, of trying to get people used to the idea of 4K and become the 4K gaming device, so that everybody who is really tech hungry starts jumping on that early. And that is a market, and it's smart if they start just starting to wedge themselves in there. It could give them a early lead towards 9th generation, and I completely think that's true.
What I think they're doing with the Xbox One X is they're trying to start, oh, look at that, we had 800 people watching. I think that's the highest we've ever had, actually. I think what Microsoft's trying to do here, and because I've been trying to figure out what is going on with this Xbox One X. I don't think it makes a lot of sense right now because, well, honestly, I'm a little biased against these mid-generation systems. So I think they're just a bad idea.
Same.
I bought a PS4 Pro, probably one of the worst purchases I've ever made, to be honest. I don't have a 4K TV. I should just stuck with a regular one, to be completely honest. I was expecting every game to get some kind of boost mode thing, and it's like these games still can't hit 60 frames. Why did I buy this system? It's tough. I feel like they could have waited. I don't think the 4K demand is as bad as they pretend like it is right now. I think the Switch shows that, but the Switch has the games that really push it along anyway. But the thing about the Xbox One X, I think Microsoft is like, look, the PS4 Pro is out. Everyone's going to start getting to know Sony for 4K, and no one's going to know us for 4K when we get into the next generation. So let's put a whole marketing campaign together. Let's put the system out that is more powerful. So now they know that we are the 4K company. We are true 4K. That's all they've said, right? True 4K, not actually true 4K, by the way, but it's true 4K. That's all they've said. So now the company is going to be known by really everyone that's mainstream, people who aren't on YouTube like we are, people who aren't in the know as much as probably people watching now, right? Most people watching now are really into games. The mom and dad that walk into the store who have what they believe to be a 4,000 pixel TV or whatever, when that's not even what it actually is. They just see 4K. They now know the Xbox One X as the system to get for 4K. So now they take Microsoft and compare it to that. Like, okay, Microsoft, what's their system? They have the Xbox 2. Let's get the Xbox 2. That's what I think their strategy is. I think they're playing the long game right now. A game Sony has no interest in playing. They don't care. They're winning. Who cares? So it's going to be interesting. I feel like these mid-generation systems are just confusing and not needed. That's my opinion on it. I have an Xbox One S. It's going to become the stand for my Xbox One X.
Well, my biggest worry is that it's going to delay the next console generation. I'm a huge fan of like let's start the next generation. Let's start, like, even if they tease it, I hope we see something in the next year or two that says, like, this is the PlayStation 5. Like, come out on stage and say this is the PS5.
2013, so we're coming up on that 5-year cycle, right?
Yeah, I hope, but we've also had a 9-year cycle at one point with the Xbox 360, so they may stretch it out to a 6 or 7 year, which I'm fine with as well. But I'm afraid of getting like a Pro. I'm afraid of like another mid generation before we go to the next generation.
I mean, it took you a while to get that S, didn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I planned on buying one, but luckily, someone generously donated it to the channel. But
it was under the box that had Panzer Dragoon Saga and
it's still crazy.
I need a PO box, man. My gosh.
I mean, might as well.
Yeah, apparently. You took you a while to get the S, right? And now the X is coming out. But I remember when you saw the X, you were like, I don't want the X. I want the S.
Yeah.
Why don't you want the X? I should ask you that, because you're on the side of I don't care.
I don't have a 4K TV or anything, so I'm not going to be able to use the intended. They talked about how we'll have super sampling, so you'll get a better picture, I guess. And then they talked about, I guess, frame rate advances is what they're talking about. So you still get some. It's definitely not 4K though, right? You want 4K. Are you guys getting 4K TVs at Christmas time? I should ask you that.
God no.
Oh.
Nah, I got too many games to buy.
Oh, no. I was thinking about buying them. That's fun though. Black Friday, maybe.
My thing is, I'm not sure, because so much of my time is spent reviewing games. It's hard to review a game every single week, and so I don't think that I'd be able to. So I record everything through 1080p capture card, and I think if I was trying to crank 4K through it, my TV would just and I don't want to have that happen.
Yeah, I don't know. I think they have. Aren't there some capture cards coming out that are going to do?
There are, yeah. And I could get one, but I think I'm not sure my computer could handle it. I would have to upgrade. Like, if I get a 4K TV, I got to get a 4K capture card and also a 4K computer.
Dude, you got to get that Craigslist special, man. I'm telling you.
I know.
That's all my computers are all from Craigslist. You don't have to spend a lot of money at all. How do you think I have all these monitors?
I had really bad experience on Craigslist, and I don't like to go back. I tried to sell a TV once, and a guy offered to trade me for a shotgun, and he promised that it wouldn't have bullets when he gave it to me. And I was like, "No, we're good. I don't want to tell you where I live." Jesus
I
Christ.
remember. I remember. What was that, Evan? Wasn't there someone we worked with was going to trade? What was it, Evan? They were going to sell a PS4. Was it
Over
And-
Craigslist?
Yeah, and the guy was like, I'll trade you like an assault rifle or something. Just meet me at the parking lot at like
Those
8.
are like currency. It's like, especially here in Texas, people are like, "Okay, you got that cool skateboard? I'll give you a pistol for it." Like, no, we're
Oh,
good.
I didn't think of that. Texas is like super lax with their gun stuff, right?
Yep, they're everywhere.
Man, wow. So yeah, I don't know, man. The whole thing with the Xbox, the most excited I've been for the Xbox recently is Xbox original backwards compatibility. So that should tell you something right there. And then Cuphead, man, Cuphead was I'm so happy Cuphead sold, by the way, hit over 1 million sales. Thank you, Xbox people. Although I think Steam, accounted for like 700,000 sales. So
Probably, yeah.
which is I saw it on Steam Spy, which is kind of embarrassing. That means that only like 300,000 Xbox people bought it, which is.
Well, the good news is on Xbox, it's probably going to have a very, very long tail. It's going to be the indie Xbox game for years.
Yeah, I hope so, man. I hope it gets. I was really worried about it selling on the Xbox. I think it would have sold really well on the PS4. I think it would have sold really well on the Switch. I think it would have sold really well on the Switch.
It would have sold really well on anything besides the
Xbox, man. It's not a first-person shooter or a football game.
Yeah.
They could have put that on the ColecoVision and people still would have bought it.
Yeah. That's man. Oh gosh, is NeoGaf still down? I tried checking at the beginning. I haven't checked it since then. Let me check again. I'm just curious. It's back up.
I'm sure by now.
Error.
Oh yeah, I was
Goodbye,
expecting
NeoGaf.
to be that meme where it's Charlie Day standing in front of the giant board with all the string around it. Like, okay, this is how the site went down.
I used that that picture yesterday. I had to.
I love it. My favorite use of that is the one that says your face after you beat your first Metal Gear Solid game. And it's like the guy tried to, this is the conspiracy I have.
Oh man. That's great. Evan, questions from audience, patron people, whoever.
Oh yeah, there's a couple. I did inform everyone in
questions.
chat. Looks
Hit
like
them with some questions, people.
Looks like the Lapo had like 3 different ones.
Okay.
We already kind of covered this a little bit, but how do you feel about the state of single-player games going forward? I mean, they're going to be around.
I'd like to think that we're going to fall into this weird time where AA games are going to be single-player games, and then AAA are going to just be known for loot boxes and other junk. Like Hellblade is an awesome game at its price, and I hope more companies are able to do that. But was it Ninja Theory? I think they were very fortunate to be in the position they were, where they could afford to do that.
Yeah, I think we got the only other one I can think of that's going to be huge for single player is Cyberpunk, and we're still not even certain when that's going to be talked about more.
Yeah, and of course they're in their own little scandal right now because of Glassdoor.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yep.
There was some weird stuff. They said that it's just not for everybody, right? That's for
it's in reference to them pushing people harder without really raising pay or anything.
Well, and people quitting. Apparently there was some sort of problem of people like spending like 60 hours coming up with this giant proposal, walking in, and the guy's just like, "Nah, we're good." I'm like, cool, then I quit. Like, screw this job. And so they're like, yeah, that happens. Like, studios are about saying yes and saying no to different ideas.
Yeah. Oh. Thoughts of limited run games finally bringing physical Switch games next year. I love limited run games. I like it a lot. I love the idea of bringing these indie games to the Switch. Just what they do in general is awesome. If you've never heard of them, go check them out because there's some cool stuff going on there. The only thing I don't like about limited run games, people always buy them and then put them up on eBay and stuff for trying to scalp them. But otherwise, I like the idea taking games that aren't physical and making them physical as like limited edition stuff. That was very cool. I know Sean, you were super excited on Twitter for that.
Oh yeah, I love their stuff, and I knew it was coming. I had a feeling, but the nice part is where I live right now, they're only like an hour away from me, so I might just have to go up there when they start making the Switch games and be like, hey buddy, you got any extras?
And that's my thing. That's why I've never bought an unlimited run game, because they look really cool. I follow them on Twitter and everything, and I love their stuff. By the way, they tweet out tons of giveaways. Definitely follow them on Twitter. But I've just never done it because I've heard their website. It's really kind of weird to like get in there right as it goes live and order it. And I don't like to compete for sales, you know.
Oh yeah, it's a pain in the ass.
Yeah. What else we got, Evan?
Follow up to that. Do you think indies will pick up the slack or go where their money is? And I don't know. Indies for me they've always been like on a cycle where one will release something amazing, and then we'll see like 100 release the same exact game with different skins for a while, and then we'll see the next interesting indie thing come out. So,
what do you mean? Go where the money is? What do you mean?
Basically, like if Golf Story is selling well, what if the next indie company releases something very similar to Golf Story and it's not that main company?
I got you. Yeah. I mean, the whole point of being an indie company is to take risk and be original. So I'd hope that I see indie companies as being more artists, and then I see AAA developers as being more like the print company.
Yeah, but even among indies, there's the companies who are like, well, this is selling well. Let's see if we can make a quick buck on it. Like it's kind of that cyclical. Like if it's easy to make and copy, then they can just do it.
Yeah. Well, I say it a lot, but I feel like that stuff sinks to the bottom so fast. You hardly even hear of it. Like I went on the PlayStation. PlayStation's doing all these crazy sales this week. Like every week of October is a different horror sale. And I went on there today, and it's just full of really bad indie zombie games I've never heard of for $1. What the hell?
Possibly it might also be whether or not we think indies might start picking up some form of loot box or microtransaction system.
I don't think they'll the only way they do that is if they're free to play. I have no problem with free to play games doing that. It really doesn't, because there's no price of entry. You know, I have no problem with that. So it's this is a good question for Sean, actually. He asked what I think about it. I already talked about it. What do you think about the analog Super NT?
Whew. I mostly like it. The price point is much better than the NT, the NES versions of the NT. I think it'll do well. I think they should have thrown in a controller though. Like, what the hell are you doing? Why is there
no controller comes with it?
No.
Weird.
Wow.
And I mean, it's to the point now where like, you know, when like I understand there's people that prefer, you know, things like the analog NT and whatnot. But I just think like there's so many other clone systems that are coming out, and yes, they're not hardware based, they're emulation based, but it's like a fraction of the price, and like a lot of these are really good. I was actually filming a review of a clone system.
Which one is that?
I just did the Classic 2 from Old School blew me the fuck away.
Oh no, that's not. I have one that I'm supposed to review at some point too.
Is it from Gamers Tech?
You just throw it in a box next to your table.
Dude, I have so much stuff I need to review.
You have to see that pile. That is ridiculous.
I have so much stuff I'm supposed to review. Let me get this box and let me take a look on.
Okay, yeah, I am interested to see which one it is though, because I just did the Gamers Tech one tonight. That does so. The Classic 2 does NES and Super NES. It also does European games, but it doesn't do Japanese. Sweet. But it does have the 4x3 or 16:9 switch on it, which I think is genius, and it needs to be on all of these. The Gamers Tech does Super Famicom and Super Nintendo, has the 14:9 switch.
This thing, Sean.
Spoil it. Yep, that's the one I just captured footage on. It's actually very good. Spoiler alert. It played everything I threw at it, and the slot is pretty tight as far as getting the games out. But yeah, I play Super Nintendo and Super Famicom games. So
I'm gonna take it apart. So
freak! Somebody asked this question a bit ago, but we were all like really rapping there. But we forgot to all dish out our thoughts on Project Spartan.
No, we were getting to that in a second, actually.
Okay, good.
That was the next thing we're going to talk about. So Project Spartan is a little terrifying because I don't know what to make of it at this point. It seems like it's vaporware. I will say that. Yep. It seems like they don't know what they're doing. What it seems like is a group of fans of Sega keep trying to tap them on the shoulder and tell them to make a system. And now they're actually attempting to build a mini computer to present to them after so many signatures. So I made a video on it. And part of the reason I wanted to make a video on it is because they seem to be using the petition as an excuse for what they're they're waiting on this petition to hit a certain amount, right? To then move forward, and it's taking forever to get to this signature count, which is really funny.
So I did some investigating. Obviously, I have a lot of connections with the Dreamcast community, real deep connections, and so they did some digging for me. And apparently, the guy who's behind this is one person. He might have one other person that works with him, but it seems like it's a one-man show. Yep. He is the single guy behind Project Dream and Dreamcast Reloaded, and his name is Bertie Wiseman. And apparently, he just keeps doing this. And his Twitter handle has always been Wise Spartan, or like Wiz Spartan. So they think that it's just like this is just his latest version. Nobody quite knows what his point, though, is that because he just keeps doing the same thing over and over again, which is trying to get people to fund these projects that never go anywhere. And he sent me a couple emails that are full of typos. I don't understand. I think it's all just, I don't want to say a scam, but I don't think it has a real point.
Well, here's what I think. Oh, you can go ahead, Sean. Go on.
It's just I know exactly who Bertie is. Funny enough, I'm in a Dreamcast Reloaded group, and they loved your video on it, Spawn. They loved yours. Yes,
they should. Did you see how many views I got?
Yeah.
Oh man, that was not supposed to get out of hand like that. By the way, it was not supposed to get to that point. The only reason I made the video was because their petition has been lagging forever, and they keep pointing at the petition as to when this gets there, guys, we're going straight to the top, and we're gonna build this system, and we're gonna get Sega on board. And I was like, we'll see about that. So I made the video, and I was like, this has to at least get the last 1,000 signatures, I bet. And then we'll see what they do, like calling their bluff. So now we're going to see what they do, because I think their petition is done.
I actually had a guy who's very into the Sega community, a bigger name guy, and he actually, while we were talking tonight, he was questioning the console, and they actually sent him a picture of the supposed working prototype. He doesn't necessarily here.
They have a working prototype. They said they were going to get one working, but that was like,
well, but they said that on, they said that on the 4th. Yeah.
I say working prototype. It just has a power light on. So, it's probably literally nothing.
Yeah, but it's not like a sexy power light. You want to DM that to me or tweet it out live?
I'll DM it to both of you. And you can take a look at it. But
dude,
yeah,
I'm on the edge of my seat. I'm expecting poor lighting, grainy image.
Yes, you're spot on.
I mean, I would like for them to prove everybody wrong and come out with an actual system that's decent, but it's Sega doesn't want any part of this. I'm going to be honest with everyone right now. The more I've looked into this, because somebody got a word back from them, and it sounds like they don't even know what they want to do. Like, it seems, I don't know.
It's just the Dreamcast 2 people doing another project, and all right, I sent it to both of you. It's so weird. It's just like an overactive fan who has nothing but time on his hands, evidently, who's just been doing this over and over and over.
That case looks 3D printed, by the way.
Yeah.
That case looks 3D printed.
And the weird thing is, the controller, they've actually shown a controller, and it doesn't look like that.
Yeah.
It doesn't. The handles of it are much longer on their prototype. It's a shit show, is what it is. It's just smoke and mirrors, and pandering to nostalgia people, because Sega has no need to enter the hardware market. Sammy would tell them to piss off. Like, they'd be like, no, we don't want you.
What's interesting is, I think Sega, believe it or not, they're the strongest they've been in a while. I'm not going to say they're getting into this or anything, but they are in the best position they are right now with some of their games. Like, they could put Persona exclusively on their system. They could put a lot of Atlas, because they run Atlas. They could put a lot of Atlas games on there. They could put Sonic, and then people are begging for a new NFL other than Madden. They could bring back NFL 2K even. So I'm not saying they're going to do it, but they could.
When does that license end for Madden?
I think they re-upped it, didn't they?
No,
year
come
2077.
What?
I'm just throwing out a number. I'm sure it's forever
though.
It's like Mickey. Like technically that thing keeps almost running out, but it never does.
Here we go. When does the EA NFL deal end? That's a NeoGaf link. Oh, it's done.
Oh no.
R.I.P.
It's going to horrible allegations in this thread too.
2020. I see 2020. Apparently, they just keep re-upping it anyway, so like it's not going to end ever.
So stupid.
Yeah, it hurts. It hurts because there's no competition for it.
And the 2K games were better. Everyone loved the 2K games. They were so much better.
It makes you wonder how much they have to do to spin it off of the actual Madden series so they can still release it, and it's just everyone's name has a changed vowel in it.
They did that on the Xbox 360. What the hell was the name of that game?
That was the big thing about Firecore, because Firecore
All Pro Football 2K8.
There it is.
That was actually a good game too.
Of course it was.
Fire Pro? Yeah, Fire Pro. That was the thing about Fire Pro, because then you just make all the wrestlers, but it's not them making it, it's the fans.
Someone asked, Nintendo's investors briefing is next week. Other than sales major announcement, perhaps? No. The people that are showing up to these things, they could look at them straight in the face and say, Mother 3 is out tomorrow. And the investors would be like, what? What are you talking about? They don't know. They don't play games. They don't know. They're busy asking them stupid questions like, can I get tickets to Nintendo's theme park in Universal? Can I get advanced tickets? Not even asking good questions. But they don't care. They're gonna. What I hope is that somebody in the crowd is smart enough to ask a good question about what's in store for us next year. What someone needs to do is ask about Pokemon, because that's a big deal. They need to be like, is Pokemon a 2018 game? Yeah. No, there won't be any big announcement, unfortunately. It'll be pretty straightforward. I think what do they answer? 20 questions or something like that? I think it's 20 questions.
Yeah, it's not a lot.
No, and then they'll be on their way.
Questions.
They'll give us solid numbers though, so we'll know everything through I think September. Yeah, September. So we'll know how many Switches are actually out there, which will give us an idea of what we can project for the rest of the year. We'll know if they can actually hit 10 million, which they can, but it'll come down to, can they pass the Wii U in the calendar year, which would be ridiculous. I don't know if they'll do it in the calendar year, but they'll definitely do it in their first year, because that counts all the way up to the beginning of March.
Yeah.
So that we'll know more. That's on the 30th, I think. 31st, 30th. And then we also have, which I'm sure some of you guys know, Sony has their stream on the 30th as well, which I'll be watching. Streaming that out too. Anyone here is allowed to join me if you'd like. It's up to you. But we're doing that too. A lot of stuff's happening that day. Let's see. What else we have, Evan? We got about 10 minutes left.
Final Delapo question. Then we got another one. If you could only recommend 2 Switch titles for people to get in the month of November, what would you tell them to get?
Oh,
that's so specific.
Games that are releasing in November, right? Not games that are like, you're talking about games that are coming out in November.
Most likely.
We're disqualifying Mario Odyssey then.
Yeah, here, I'm going to pull up the list of everything coming out in December or November, so I can cheat.
That's tough. I'm going to say Skyrim. Especially if you haven't played it. If you have played it, it's tough, because Skyrim is a game you're going to get the most for your money out of. Definitely, no matter what you buy, that's probably going to be it. You can play Skyrim for forever. I know people still play Oblivion.
Yeah. I'm trying not to just say re-releases, and that is a big month of re-releases.
Yeah. But they become different because they're portable, So it's interesting. This portable experience, man. It's interesting.
I know, but I'll die on the hill that I do not think Doom is worth it on the Switch. I won't be buying it again. Like, I understand if you're buying it for the first time, totally worth it. But I feel like such a huge portion of the audience is very proudly saying, I bought the $120 PlayStation 4 Special Edition, and now I'm going to buy the $60 Switch Edition. It's like, man, bro, that's $200 on a game. That's a lot of money.
Yeah, I have it on the PC, so I'm okay with it right now. I've played Doom a lot, so I'm done with that. But I'm definitely getting LA Noire because I want to revisit that game.
Yeah, same. Yeah,
I'll be picking that one up. Yeah.
I'm gonna be the oddball and say Doom because it's Doom and I love Doom and I could play it while I'm taking a dump.
That's fine.
And I will say, as much as I think Skyrim will be good, I'll say the Resident Evil Revelations pack, because it's only $40. You're getting Resident Evil Revelations 1 and 2, and plus those cool little mini games. And
that game has some great co-op, which again and again I always have to say, Switch is the multiplayer freaking console now.
Dude, it's going to use that single Joy-Con play, right? Because it said it's going to have split screen. And the one thing I like about that is that it's actually going to use the IR pointer.
Yes.
Oh, really?
That's how you reload your gun.
Oh, you shake it, you do something?
You cover it.
Oh, like wow.
Isn't that cool? Yeah, I thought that was a neat idea.
That's the cheese I'm paying for.
I would probably say, if it was me, I would say go with LA Noire and Skyrim.
I would say, just so I can not have two re-releases, I am going to say Sonic Forces, just because, honestly, I think that game's going to bomb, and it's going to need the help.
Dude, Sonic Boom was awesome, man. You can't go wrong.
Yeah, right. Well, everything I've seen about the fact that they're advertising that goofy creative character with glasses so hard, I've lost all hope for Forces. I'm going to review it, but I'm going in pretty skeptical.
Yes. And then Sean, you're going with Doom. What was your other one?
Resident Evil.
The Resident Evil collection.
Resident Evil. What do you think, Evan?
I'd say if you haven't played it, Rhyme, just because it was a really fun story. And then save your money because, I mean, Xenoblade comes out December 1st. So
yeah, that's my boy. Yeah.
That's a game you could get Xenoblade and play it all the way up till Lost Sphere comes out. No problem.
Yeah, definitely.
That'll be good. Let's see. Do we have another one, Evan?
Final one from the Discord. Think we're going to be seeing anything about the virtual console for the Switch before the end of this year?
No.
Yeah, I don't think so, because they keep pointing out all those like virtual systems that they're trying to sell, and I don't think they're really going to talk about the console version.
I think they're so hung up on the Super Nintendo Classic. I don't think we're getting virtual console until they announce the online.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's when we'll see it, and it won't be anything we can get on the. It won't be anything we can get on the Super Nintendo Classic at all.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, well, and that's why we don't have Chrono Trigger then, because they're going to come out and be like, "Oh, the RPGs you missed, Chrono Trigger trailer." You know,
if they were smart, the first release on Virtual Console would be Mother 3. If they were smart,
yeah,
that would do it. That would do it. You could do that. You could throw a Mario game on there. They already showed Dr. Mario and what was the other one they showed? Mario 3. They could do those and they could get away with it fine. But if you show up to the dance with a new game and Mother 3 like they did with Star Fox 2 on the Super Nintendo Classic. Yeah, you're probably going to get a lot of people giving you $20 for the entire year.
Yeah, well, and I'm sure they could even have a trilogy bundle that you buy solo or something. The Mother trilogies, you get Mother 0, Earthbound, and Mother 3 all in one, and be like, hey, how's this? Boom,
dude! If they put it out on a cartridge, I will hand them $60 for that game.
Same, yeah. I would. I'd probably put that as faced out in my collection in the background.
Yeah, I would hope that they would do some cool stuff with it too, like put in like a nice, like you have the plastic case, but then you put it into like a box, and the box is like an art book in it, kind of like how Persona 3 was on the PS2 back in the day. Mm-hmm. Something like that would be really cool. Are those all of them, Evan?
That's the Discord questions, yes.
Okay, very good, very good. Anyone in the chat have a question before we wrap up here? Anyone have a question?
Some people are talking about how I Am Setsuna bombed in Japan, and now we're seeing Lost Fear also bomb in Japan.
Lost Fear bombed real bad. I Am Setsuna didn't do well, but compared to Lost Fear, it sold like Madden.
Yeah.
Lost Fear did absolutely horrible.
Yeah, which is weird. So I like I Am Setsuna. I actually gave it a 9 when I reviewed it. I was very impressed with it. It was linear and it was all in snow, but I love the soundtrack. I love the combat system. So it's weird to see that game sold bad already. It took them, I think it said 9.5 months to make their money back. It took them 9.5 months to break even. So they were already working on the next project and hoping they don't get fired. It's like, man,
I'm gonna be honest. Project Octopath Traveler really hurt my view on Lost Sphere because Octopath Traveler is awesome.
Yeah, somebody said that Octopath is now the Setsuna killer. Like that Tokyo RPG Factory, which is the studio behind that, suddenly has an all new ball game of like, okay, like if you want to do a retro RPG, that's fine, but we have this as our new yardstick, and let me tell you, it's a gold yardstick.
Yeah, that's. Man, I want that game now. We don't have a release date for it, right? We just know next year.
Yeah, 2018.
Man, that demo was so polished, though. I think it's probably deep into devs.
Yeah, I think they're getting close to just being done. They wanted us to test it and see what we thought, and I think most people liked it. Did you play it, Sean?
What's that? The Octopath demo? Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Did you like it? I never asked you about that.
Oh yeah, it was super good.
Good. What else we have, Evan? Anything else?
I mean, nothing else. We got general questions in chat. I think there was one about the delay of Animal Crossing, even though it said coming in 2017.
You're talking about the mobile game.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on there because that says that has mobile game written all over it. I'm gonna tell you that now. Animal Crossing is like the perfect, like Nintendo made that game without even having mobile in mind. But it's crazy because if you look at Animal Crossing, you almost think that they were thinking mobile game from the start. It would work perfectly there. I have no idea what's holding this up. Fire Emblem has pretty much made its established audience known. And man, Animal Crossing would do so well on mobile. Like I would download it. I only played one game on my phone. I don't know what the deal. I don't know. Maybe it's just not ready yet. Maybe it's an early 2018 release. Makes no sense to me because that could be free and they would have tons of microtransactions and people would buy it up like crazy.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I forgot. And then Pokemon Go had it. Evan, you play Pokemon Go still?
Occasionally, they're doing their new event. They just released all
doing their Halloween event right now.
Yeah, it's just the same as the last event. They still haven't added any of the things.
Gen 3 Pokemon though, man.
Yeah, but I think at the beginning of the year they said, "Oh, dueling coming soon." No, like none of it's still happening.
Pokemon game that still doesn't have dueling. How does that happen?
In this universe, how does that ever occur? It's
it's the pacifist Poke universe.
Yeah.
At least I don't have to like worry about driving around and have people walk in the middle of the street with their phone in their face.
I mean, people still play it heavily. Or the Main Street area near me, there's still squads of people just roaming around with their phones out, doing all the raids and stuff.
Yeah. Well, I remember there were stampedes. There was some vlogger, jerk, prank, asshole dude at one point. It was like walking up, like, all right, check this out. It's the Pokemon Go prank. And he like walks out with his phone like, it's a Mewtwo, oh my god. And literally a stampede of like people are running through a fountain and stuff trying to get, it's like, oh god, like too much.
Oh, and yeah, before we close out, guys, did you realize that just about a year ago today, they announced what the NX would become with the Switch? It's been that long.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, it's really weird to think that we're to that point. It's been over a year now since we heard about the Switch. But I wasn't even really around for any of the NX junk.
Oh, it was fun.
Yeah, I hear there's a lot of fun stuff going on about people trying to figure out what the NX was like 6-7 months out.
The Stewie Griffin controller. That was my favorite.
Yeah. And it was funny when that guy showed the layers of CG he used to create that picture, and people were like, oh, because he let that rumor really float out there for about 10 days.
Oh, yeah.
Man, I guess that's it, right? For SpawnCast, guys. Anything else you guys wanted to bring up before we
short of that? I mean, we did 2 weeks ago. We did an over/under for Mario Odyssey sales, and we have pretty much everyone here that did that except Max. So if Max, if you want to put a number in for that,
is this for the first week? We're saying
first week total sales. John said 2 million. Sean was 1.5. Philip was 3. I said 3.1 because I'm an asshole. So Max, you gotta.
I think it's gonna be. Oh god! So what was Arms was 200K the first week, right? Something crazy.
Yeah, both with the sales blowing up now for the Switch, that's what we were trying to factor in.
Splatoon 2 was. We'll find out about. Actually, we'll know about Splatoon 2 at the end of the month. We know its first week in just Japan was, I think, almost 700,000 for Splatoon 2.
Okay,
right? Am I thinking right? 600 something thousand. Just in Japan.
I think Mario is going to do well. I think it's going to do exceedingly well. But I also don't.
I would also have to give you a recommendation. I think the Switch is somewhere around 7.5 million Switches out there right now.
Yeah, but week one sales is always a weird thing because like some consoles have 80% of their total revenue in the first week, and some consoles it's less. So I'm going to take a shot that I can say 1.5 million. But I think it's going to just
all right.
Yeah, so I think that I'm starting low, but I think it's just going to build and build and build like crazy.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, we see Mario Kart going nuts, so where everyone's just buying Mario Kart. Yeah, I mean that's fine. And keep in mind, because you're right, Max. It's also near Christmas time, so when December rolls around, Mario Odyssey is going to be sold out constantly.
Yeah,
you're going to buy the Switch. You're going to buy Mario Odyssey.
Well, and people are already leaking details that there may be a Black Friday sale where you get Odyssey for $40 or like $60 with a $20 rebate.
Really?
I've seen somebody say some Best Buy leak. That Best Buy.
Oh, okay. I was going to say Nintendo never puts their stuff on sale.
Yeah. But the rebate sale type thing, Best Buy does it a lot. Of like it's $20 off if you go to this day and punch this employee.
I really might buy a 4K TV on Black Friday. I might. We'll see. They're already so cheap. Like I was at Walmart just grocery shopping, and they have like 4K TVs with HDR from Samsung for like $550.
Yeah.
It's not bad.
No, it's like
I
a
think
6-inch too.
I need to upgrade my computer. I just
What do you have in your computer anyway before we leave? What processor you have in that bad boy?
I couldn't even tell you. I have no idea. So I paid somebody to make this. A friend of mine. I was basically using a paper clip to render my videos for the first couple of years, and I started having a thing where if I dropped too much video on the timeline, the screen would turn black, and I would just have to edit videos by sound. I'm not even joking.
No way.
And this is when I was at like 20. This is when I was at 27,000 subscribers. So I wasn't exactly a beginner, and I was making good money at that point. So a friend of mine basically said, "Okay, set aside $1,000 and I'll just design you a computer." So I set aside $1,000. So this is my $1,000 computer, but now it's been 2 years since then. So I'm like, okay, it's time to design another $1,000 thing.
That sounds good, man. Let me know if you need help. I can help you build one.
Yeah, we've gotten real close. We could probably build you something ridiculous for $600. Like,
okay, I'll let y'all know. And also, so both of my roommates are ex-military, crazy, gung-ho, awesome dudes, and both of them now work as like engineering dudes. So they're both like walk up looking pissed, like, all right, let me just build you the most supercomputer brainiac piece of shit.
Yeah.
So,
the trick is the time, because we know where to look around this time during the year to find like the ridiculous part.
Yeah, the rendering of the computer. I have the render. Cost me, I think, $180, and it has an i7 and a GTX 970 and everything in it.
I don't even know what any of that means. The main thing that everybody keeps selling me is solid state drive. I don't have a solid state drive.
Oh, so no, you don't have a solid state drive, dude?
It's not the most necessary thing, but yes, you need it.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's the thing. So when I render like a 9-minute rant, it takes about 35 minutes to render.
What?
So so a lot of times I'll press render, I'll put everything in there, I'll do like the proof listen, and then I press render, and then I just play Switch for like an hour, and then I go, okay, it's done. Like 10 to Photoshop.
Really good rendering system, though. I will say that. No, dude, like 9 minutes. Like I think 10 minutes. Whenever I do Newswave, it's like 12, 13, 14 minutes. That usually takes like I think 17 minutes, like 15 minutes to render that.
Yeah,
at 60 frames too. At 60 frames 1080p. So if you get your processor, probably is just a little slower, but
yeah,
like an i7. Like this i7 is not even new. This i7 is like old, but it's still pretty strong. So
we're good. Yeah, and that's the kind of stuff is I don't need like Goku in a computer. I'm just looking for something that doesn't.
Dude,
quite
I can
hum
say
so
that's
much.
all you need, man. Dude, go on. I already did a whole thing for this. Go on eBay and buy a Dell Optiplex. What is this thing?
Oh God, Optiplex. Oh Jesus.
They always sound terrible, but it's the things inside that matter, and it's so cheap.
Oh,
Optiplex 990.
i90.
990. Look that sucker up. You find one with an i7.
Oh God. Okay, I'm deep in computer land. I think I should probably leave. I don't know what any of this is.
Here's one. Dell Optiplex, not i7, $139. Bam. That's all you need.
That's cheaper than most of the newer processors for the i7. So like,
dude, get that. You can just use that for your rendering box. Seriously, just separate that from your gaming one and just use that to render and like create your videos. And then you have a computer you can just use for gaming. Your old one, the one you use now.
Mm-hmm.
I did a whole video on it. It's so easy to do. But yeah, Optiplex 990. There are a couple HPs, but that's what I'm using here is an Optiplex 990, and the computer itself I got on Craigslist for $100.
All right, I'll keep that. Everybody in chat's telling me to go with it, so apparently this is for reals.
It's good. No, it's good. It's a good computer, and it's on eBay.
Cost effective.
But you have to make a few alterations, get a solid state for like $60, $70 for like a 240 gig, and then
especially
you
around
really
now, you can get really good ones.
Or you don't need, if you don't want a video card, you can get like a basic one, like a basic NVIDIA card, like a 1050, just for to help you with video editing. That's it. You can get the whole thing done for like $300-$400, no sweat.
Jesus,
dude, I'm telling you, you just gotta ask, man. I got you.
You don't even need to go to a 1050. You could technically get like an 8 or a 9 series for cheaper and just be fine with it.
I mean, a 1050 is a nice card though, and you don't even need you don't need to upgrade the power supply if you get a 1050 at the right kind.
And you can find them on flash sales for so cheap.
Yeah. Okay, so I guess that'll do it for tonight. Yes. That'll do it for everyone in the chat seat. Look, a lot of them already watched my video where I built that Craigslist computer anyway, so they already know. Yeah, there's a video Max you can check out if you want. It literally is the inside of this computer when I built it.
Okay.
I actually had to rip the hard drive caddy out to fit the video card in because the video card's like 13 inches long. I guess that's it. So Sean, where can they find you, man?
You can find me at RGT85. I am dangerously close to
What are you getting?
57,000. 57,000. Let's see. I am
really? Are you really?
I am 12 away. 12 away. So sub to me with a smiley face if you like my face and like to hear men yell about video games.
That's good.
Hold on, Sean. Hold on.
I'm getting so close to 100K. It's driving me crazy, man. I don't care about anything else. My thing is I don't get competitive with other YouTubers, but I keep pushing myself. I just want to break 100K and get that plaque so bad.
Yeah, me too. I really want that plaque too. I'm like, man, it like haunts me. No,
it does, right? I'll have dreams sometimes where I'm just like, yes, this is my plaque. I'm going to carry it to parties. I'm like, hi, I'm a loser, but look at this.
Here we go.
I only care about negative stuff. If you're being positive in tone, he doesn't care.
Here we go.
Okay.
Try to watch the number go. Are we doing this again?
I just played around with it. We're ending, man. We're on our way out here, so I'm just playing with it. Yeah. So we can where can they find you, Max?
I'm just youtube.com/Dreamcast guy. I'm working on a big review right now of Wolfenstein 2: The New Colossus, and I think that video comes out Wednesday or Thursday. I'll let you know. So it should be cool. And thank you, everybody, for sticking with me. I've gotten a bunch of new subscribers despite the fact that I've been doing this crazy move. So I cannot express how much the support's been awesome.
I just want to see this thing turn over to 57 while we're live on air, man. And Evan, where can they find you, man?
I'll just link it in chat. It's basically that name at Twitter, Twitch, anywhere really. .com. It's just all that. Or you can just pay attention to Spawn.
We did it.
I'm gonna
Okay, now everyone unsubscribe.
Hold on.
I was just kidding.
Hold on.
Unsubscribe my 5 accounts.
I was just kidding. Cool. All right, very good. Thanks to everyone who helped out Sean there. That's whenever you hit that, whenever you turn over that number, you turn over that little odometer, it's pretty cool. Hey, we got him to 57. You guys can stop. Hey. Thanks, guys. Thanks. Sean appreciates it. Thank you.
I really do. That's freaking awesome. Thank you.
Very kind of everyone. So I guess that'll do it for tonight. Thanks, guys, for tuning in. Another Saturday night, another SpawnCast. Max is our co-host now. From now on going forward, so you'll see myself and Max on here pretty much every time, right? I guess.
I might miss next week because I'm invited to like 5 Halloween parties, and if I don't go to at least 2, I'm like,
got promoted.
Sure. I know, right?
Kidding.
And I'm immediately like, can I take a vacation now that I'm promoted? I'm gonna be that guy.
It is Halloween next weekend. That makes sense. I get that. There's a lot of Halloween parties out there, so
yeah,
that's fine. But we'll be here next weekend either way, Evan and I, and then I'll see who else is around. Sean, thanks for joining us, man. I appreciate it.
Anytime.
Very cool, man. Very cool. Okay, guys. What episode is this, Evan?
Oh God, I don't even remember.
Oh man, everybody's all over the place.
I never keep track of it until after the fact. It's got to be 27, 28.
If you're a member on Patreon, it'll go up right away, right, Evan? Like it'll be up in like the next couple minutes.
Very soon. Even if you're on the Discord, the link will just be there for you, and then
you want to be on our
Discord,
Discord,
should be up tomorrow.
Yes, if you want to go to the Discord, it's $1. You jump in the Discord. Evan, you do that that way to bar any trolls or anything that pop in there, right?
Yeah, we're trying to keep trolls to a minimum.
Very good. Okay, good. All right, cool. Thanks, guys, for tuning in. We'll see you next Saturday night.